Hello and welcome to Merrimack High School for tonight's contest between the Tomahawks and the Grizzlies of Goffstown. The NHIAA and its member schools thank you for coming to support today's game. High school sports are an extension of the classroom learning experience. The student athletes in front of you have worked hard in the classroom and practiced to be able to play here today. As we encourage them to demonstrate good sportsmanship, we would also like to ask that you, our fans, help us make this event a meaningful one for our athletes by showing respect to your team, the opposing team, the coaches, and the officials. We thank you in advance for the positive sportsmanship that you will display. Please be reminded that for the safety of the players, coaches, and officials, all spectators are not permitted on the field before, during, or after the game. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Your officials for tonight's game are referee Jeff Kleiner, umpire Paul Smith, headline coach Tim Haskins, line judge John Bassadarian, and back judge Bob Zucchero. At this time, would you all please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
Won the toss and the fur. Goffstown is one and deferred. Merrimack will receive.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's game. The Merrimack Tomahawks face off against the Goffstown Grizzlies. This is their homecoming game this evening, September 20th, under the Friday night lights. We are so happy to have you tonight, whether you're watching on Comcast Channel 8, HD 1072 at merrimacktv.com or on the Merrimack TV app. We welcome you tonight. My name is Justin Slez. I'm the Assistant Media Services Coordinator for Merrimack TV. And tonight I am joined by Robert DeFelice. He gave us our calls last year for football, and we are welcoming Andy Berkeley tonight as well in the studio. And there's my transition there for the replay.
During tonight's game, you'll see
actually
some
live.
ladies
It's not a
walking around with a
replay,
50-50 raffle.
we got Andy and Rob in the studio tonight.
Team.
They're going to be calling the game, giving some color commentary.
We'll be
I'm going
drawing
to
the,
be filling you
lucky
in with my Merrimack
at the beginning of
TV
the third
spiel
period
as
tonight.
usual. So we welcome you tonight. I'm going to send us back to the field with that replay graphic. I'm going to get that all sorted out after this first game. And gentlemen, how you two doing tonight?
Doing very well, Justin. Thanks.
Feeling fantastic. Happy to be here for another season here on Merrimack TV.
So Goffstown won the toss and deferred, so they're going to kick off. Tomahawks going to receive. Tomahawks coming into tonight's matchup with a 1-1 record. Goffstown 0-2. We'll get into some of the stats a little bit later. Short kick. Looks like it bounced off a Tomahawk player, and the Grizzlies have recovered.
That's Goffstown's ball.
Oh, boy.
Wow, the Grizzlies caught Merrimack with an early trickery, little pooch kick over the first line. Merrimack wasn't ready for it. And Goffstown shifting the momentum very, very early in their favor, getting away with stealing the ball away from the Tomahawks to start this game.
Wow. Rob, we're in for a game. It looked like Perez came up with that ball, that loose ball. Grizzlies are going to start on the Tomahawks 35.
And this is huge for the Grizzlies. You want to set the momentum early, and what a way to do it than to get the ball in Merrimack territory to start things off.
Perez out of the gun. Oh, no, sorry, he's under center. He got almost a wishbone going. Handoff. Looks like Leclerc was the ball carrier.
And we're going to see a lot of that run-style offense from the Goffstown Grizzlies tonight. They are showing to be a run-first type of team. They like to throw the ball, but their identity is very much so that of a run-based offense. So those outside zones, those quick handoffs out of under center, we're going to look to see a lot of that tonight.
Setting up with a semi-wishbone. Looks like it's going to be 2nd and 4. Another inside handoff. Oh, nice job.
That defensive line for the Tomahawks is quite the unit. Coach Jackson described them as the anchors of this defense. So they are going to set the tempo up front. They always say games are won and lost in the trenches.
Absolutely.
And it starts up front with those two big defensive tackles for the Tomahawks.
Frankie came up with a big stop on that play. Knocked the Grizzlies back a yard. 3rd and 5. Nice grab. That was Hastings. Kind of slipped on the turf.
I don't think it was enough to get the first, though. I think they're going to spot him a bit short.
Just shy.
Hastings on the carry, taken down by.
Looks like going to be 4th and inches, based on what the ref or the ump said or showed.
4th and 1.
The offense is still on the field. Another opportunity to shift the momentum in your favor if you're able to come away with a big play like this.
I'd expect a quarterback keeper, something through a gap. Exactly. Smart play.
Such a tough play to stop, too, if you're the Tomahawks. You know it's coming, but with such a short distance to gain, even if you pack the box like they did, it's so hard to keep them away from just a couple of inches.
And you have surprise on your side when you do that. And so obviously Perez knows which side's going to be strong side, so obviously the left side. So we'll see how many runs they set up later in this game going to the left versus the right. Handoff.
And it's another one of those quick handoffs where the slot comes in motion and Perez is under center, takes the snap and hands it off to him quickly. We saw it at the beginning of this drive. Like I said, they're going to look to that a lot. It's very hard to read defensively because you see that motion and the handoff is so quick. So it's definitely a big builder. It's not going to be a breakaway play every single time, but it'll get you 3, 4, 5 yards consistently.
And if Goffstown is true to what their MO is, it's chunk, right? So, you know, you pick up 3 or 4 plays, Lynn on that slot carry. Here we go with an offset. Oh, ball comes loose. Tomahawks recover. That looked like Ozog came up with the ball. He did.
Are they waving it off, though? Oh, no, they are pointing in the direction of the Tomahawks. That is going to be Merrimack ball.
Oh, what a change of momentum here.
And I don't know if we can get a replay on that, but it was just like we were talking about. They show that motion again, but instead it was a counter play.
It was a
But
counter.
a little bit of a mishap on the handoff puts the ball on the ground, and Ozog able to come with it. Merrimack, deep in their own territory, gets a huge play to get out of a potentially rough situation to start this game, and now their offense will take over.
Absolutely.
There's
that
that
was
replay.
Definitely in the red zone.
Oh, that's
Replay of the celebration,
we're
at
working
least.
out some kinks here,
The
folks.
Tomahawks getting
Absolutely.
excited.
That was at the top of the game here.
That's okay.
And I'm just going to send it right back here to you guys. Sorry.
Oh.
Krieger in the carry.
Krager on the carry. Gain of about 2.
Stopped by Lynn.
Offense operating out of that no huddle that has been the system of Coach Jackson since he took over the program 10 years ago.
Moujoir able to get those guys to come offside.
To the snap.
And we'll see that hard count a lot for the Tomahawks. They've done that for
5-yard
years,
penalty.
especially in
Still
situations
second
like that. One quick run, first down, second down, you get right back on the ball, see if you can catch them off guard. Definitely tests the discipline of the defense.
Absolutely. Nice job.
Nice chunk play from Stephen Doyle there. Coach Jackson described his offense as wanting to be a run-first offense as well. Through their first 2 games, they had at least 120 rushing yards each game, so they're definitely trying to put the ball on the ground, control the tempo of the game with the run-style offense, but they're also not afraid to put the ball in the air.
And that's one thing that you've got with Moujoir. I mean, Sahil, he's very much a dual threat. He can run, he can throw. He's really good, and he's really gotten a lot more mature versus last year. Look at that. Nice cutback. Oh, picks up 12 yards.
And he's a very patient runner if you watch as well. The hole wasn't there right away. He's able to take a step to let it develop, then finds a little gap, shakes off a defender, and able to pick up 12. I spoke with Coach Jackson about Sahil as well, being the starter last season and coming into this season. And Coach Jackson said that he put Sahil in kind of a tough situation last year. As a sophomore, he saw a lot of reps on the defensive side of the ball with the varsity, which caused him to not have a lot of experience playing quarterback at the JV level. So coming in at a starter, he had little to no reps in game at quarterback. So it was a very tough situation for him to come into. But Coach Jackson said he had an incredible offseason. He's an incredibly hard worker and is very excited to see the progress that he's made from last season into this season.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things about being in the booth at the games last year and watching him, come in and you saw the rawness, but you could see the potential. Big play. Oh. Doyle, the intended receiver on that play. Looked like he got hung up with the defender.
And it was that same sideline route that Doyle ran last week against Timberland that ended up in a 40-yard touchdown. So not surprised to see them take a shot like that again because it worked so beautifully last week and coming into this week.
I'll tell you, Gaudette was step for step with him, so that was a nice defensive play there. 3rd and 9 for the Tomahawks. Oh. Still on his feet. Oh!
Looks like it was a broken play. The snap came a little bit earlier than Sahil was expecting it. Still able to turn it into something and avoid a sack, but there is some laundry down on the field. So let's take a look to see what the call is.
And for you folks at home, we found out that the referee is actually mic'd into the PA, so we'll be able to hear the calls.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Tomahawks had a lineman downfield.
And I don't think you can blame the lineman in that situation either. I don't know if the lineman knew what was going on after the misread snap, and I think Sahil was just trying to throw the ball away, so it was just a broken play overall.
That was kind of a bullet.
Tough play on 4th down as well, trying to pick up 9. Go for it on 4th earlier in kind of that midfield range. The Tomahawks usually very efficient on 3rd and 4th down so far this season. On 3rd downs, they pick up the first on 57% of their attempts. So not being able to convert on a money down like that is somewhat out of character of this offense so far this season. But a huge defensive stand by the Grizzlies after giving up the turnover deep into the Tomahawks territory.
Charge timeout.
And speaking of the Grizzlies, we want to thank all of the Goffstown supporters joining us here tonight. I believe we are patched into their feed as well, so thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you, and feel free to give some shout-outs as well if you would like.
Absolutely.
Yes, thanks, Rob. And we want to thank Jen Pappas and crew over at Goffstown TV for sharing tonight's coverage, just like you said. Merrimack and Goffstown TV are member stations of the New Hampshire Coalition for Community Media. To see where you can watch more New Hampshire high school football, click on Public Resources and Sports Calendar online at nhccm.tv.
We want to take a moment here to let everybody know that Merrimack High School's Best Buddy Club is here at this evening's game to help cheer on Merrimack football team.
Tomahawks come into tonight's contest 1-1. Lost their first game to Hingham and then won against Timberlane last week. Goffstown lost 2 nail-biters early on to Concord and BG. So expecting this game tonight to be a good one. Inside handoff. Oh, nice. And we have a late flag.
Not sure if they're going to get a tomahawk for a late hit or an unsportsmanlike call. It's usually what it would be if you see a flag that late after the whistle.
That was Billy Schmidt on the carry, able to bust through a nice hole, pickup of 9, or excuse me, looks like 7. I was looking at the flag.
Officials still talking it over. Looks like we're going to get the call now.
After the play, dead ball foul, personal foul on the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Oh,
First
boy.
down.
Some sort of unnecessary roughness, personal foul, late hit, something to that effect, or perhaps a little bit of chatter that was overheard by the officials. And that's such a costly mistake for the Tomahawks, too. You give up 9 on that first down play after turning over the ball, and now give them an extra 15 on top of it as well. So now the Goffstown Grizzlies, with a pretty fresh offense, only their second play of the drive now at the Tomahawks' 25-yard line.
just outside the red zone. Perez, inside handoff. Looks like that was Schmidt again. Just met by a sea of blue. Oh. You can tell there's some stuff going on.
Definitely some extracurriculars.
Extracurriculars.
Carry stopped by Ozark.
These are two teams that know each other very, very well. They played each other last season. Merrimack came out on top 28-8 last season, but they've seen each other 6 times in Coach Jackson's tenure, so they certainly know each other very well.
Nice inside handoff counter to Schmidt again. With a little help, able to push that pile forward deep in the red zone.
And Schmidt is such a tough back to bring down. Even after contact, he keeps his feet moving, he keeps pumping, gets those extra yards. He was one of the players that was listed on New Hampshire Football Report's preseason players to watch list, and he's showing us tonight why that is.
Absolutely.
First and goal for Goffstown.
Definitely, he's got the build to be a workhorse back there and definitely do some damage. Perez on the quarterback keeper.
Looks like they'll keep him out of the end zone for now, but another big pickup. Again, those quick runs, and it's so hard on the defensive side of things to predict where it's coming from when they have so many different guys in that backfield that they're going to get worked into the run game, whether it's someone come out of the slot, Schmidt coming downfield, or even Perez after a quick snap.
Looks going to be second and goal. About the 2.5 yard line. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a play action short pass. No, it was touchdown. Shane Lynn.
And it's again that counter. You see the play fake after the handoff. A little bit of trickery, trying to catch the Merrimack defense off guard, and it works well for them to pick up the couple yards they need to get in the end zone. Moving the ball away from Ozog and Sadia's side so far is what we're seeing. I think they keyed on them when looking at film, knowing that that's a tough side to run the ball. And so they keep favoring that left side, running away from the two of them.
And pushing outside so you can create those gaps and be able to get that cutback lane and pretty much uncontested if you don't have the outside boxed in, right?
Yes, and especially when you have a couple big runs up the middle, so you bring the defense in, you bring the safety down to try to pack it in, and then just when they're ready to stop that inside run, it results in a touchdown.
Extra point attempt is good. Grizzlies take a 7-0 lead.
Extra point by Kelly.
And it's so huge, too, to get that first score on the board, to be the first team to score. The momentum is shifting back and forth so far in the first quarter, but to get those first points, that's big for the Grizzlies. Tomahawks now looking to answer, hopefully get a little bit more out of their offense than they did in that first drive. Couple signs of life, but stalled out around midfield. So this is they're going to be their second drive. Going to see a little bit more offensively from the Tomahawks to see if they can put something together to match that touchdown.
Definitely wanting to see them use the run to set up the pass, right? And so we'll see what happens with that.
And special teams coordinator Ryan Berry was just huddling up with the kick return team. Very interesting coaching staff here for the Tomahawks. I believe when I counted looking at the coaches roster, there are 6 different coaches on the staff that are alumni of the Merrimack High School football program.
That's really cool.
All from different eras as well. And so it's very cool to see them coming back and giving back to a program that they once played in.
Oh, we got a great return.
I believe that was Bo LaMontagne on the return. A huge pickup for the Tomahawks. Start in the Goffstown territory to get things started on their second drive.
Puts the ball on the 40 for
Tomahawks will start from the Goffstown 40.
First and 10, Merrimack.
Probably about a 35-yard return on that. Oop. Crashing and smashing in the studio.
Always a lot of fun in the Merrimack TV studio.
Oh, yes. It's a heel on the keeper. Gets a little help.
Again, you see that patience from him as a runner. He is holding his hand a little bit, but you see that patience as a runner. Slows things down a little bit as he's bringing the ball outside, waits to find the right spot, and once he sees that route he wants to take, he cuts it downfield and goes, and is able to pick up 7 to 8 yards on the first play of the drive.
McCary picked up about 7 yards on the play.
Quick pass.
And those quick screens out of the pistol for the Tomahawks, a couple big plays they were able to get against Timberland last week. So not surprising to see them try to turn and use those quick screens again, especially when Goffstown is showing them a look with 6-7 guys in the box and try to spread things out and get a one-on-one look in the open field.
Yeah, Dine couldn't come up with that reception, so third.
This is about
Oh,
third
sorry,
and
second.
3.
No, third and 3.
Nice block there by Shea Egan on the linebacker as well, as I believe that was Caden Dine on the reception.
No, 87.
Zach Rate then,
Zach
excuse me.
Rate, yeah.
But Shea Egan with a huge block to be able to help him
Catch
out
by
to pick up the
Rate.
first down. Without that block, I'm not sure if he gets there.
It's a heel on the pitch.
Gorman the catch and carry.
Not sure who number 22 was.
And well, we have 1 second. I want to remind
Stop by
you at
Cody.
home, if you want a shout out tonight, you can head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/MerrimackTV. Leave a comment under tonight's post about the game, and we will give you a shout out at some point during the game. Let us know who you're rooting for, where you're watching
Holding.
from, how you're watching,
Offense.
maybe even what you're
Replay first down.
maybe even what you're snacking on, letting the ref kind of talk there for a sec. So Merrimack TV Facebook page, we'll give you a shout out, leave a comment, and we'll get at you.
And that was a holding call going against the Tomahawks, backing them up, and now looking at a 1st and 20.
That was Gabe Gorman.
Tomahawks showing a stack trips look here on the left side.
Dine on the reception. Trying to cut the corner. And we got a late flag.
Looks like some more extracurriculars there on the sideline after he stepped out of bounds. It looked like a late hit coming in from Goffstown. Tomahawk sideline getting fired up as a result of it.
Taken down by
Perez was the
Bernard.
tackler.
And that's not something you want to see defensively either. You get lucky with the penalty, back the Tomahawks up, then not giving up a ton of yards. So now the Tomahawks are looking at a 2nd and 15, 16, and then to now give up what will likely be another 15 yards, helping the Tomahawks out.
Almost gaining, actually you're gaining
Dead
everything
ball
you just
foul.
lost.
Personal foul on the defense. The 15-yard
yards.
penalty from the spot. It'll be 2nd down.
And things a little chippy so far in the first quarter
Absolutely.
from both sides.
Tomahawk's going to have a 2nd and probably about 3 or 4. Going with the stack to the right this time. Trips right. Sahil looking to find a receiver. Lets it go. Oh! Broken up last minute.
And although Egan wasn't able to come down with that, that is a terrific play by Sahil. Gets uncomfortable in the pocket, feels the pressure, able to get outside, keep the play alive, find an open receiver, and make the throw. Unfortunate that he wasn't to come down with it, but terrific, terrific quarterback play there by Sahil. And what an effort by the offensive line as well to not give up on their assignments, to stay with their man, and try to give Sahil as much time in the pocket.
Third and 2 for the Tomahawks. Going with that trip set again to the right. Sahil on the keeper, up the middle. Looking to break it. Could go. Oh! It's going to be close. Touchdown, Tomahawks.
And another great play here. It's that run game that they're able to use Sahil in, which makes defenses so uncomfortable. Takes the snap out of the pistol, runs it right up the middle, find that seam. A couple of great blocks in the middle as well, and take it home for a touchdown. Looking at a 3rd and 2, which turns into the touchdown, shift the momentum back in their favor. Great, great quarterback play by Sahil on that drive.
Egan with a nice block too, blocking that outside to get him to cut back inside. So that was a nice job all the way around. And the point after attempt is no good.
And this is an offense that both Coach Carl Bunis as well as Coach Jordan Miranda are at the helm of. Both of them kind of share the responsibilities of offensive coordinator. But they identify as a QB-centric system, meaning they run a lot of option plays, and they put a lot of trust in Sahil at quarterback to make decisions on the fly. Does he hand it off? Does he keep it himself? Or does he pull it and look to a screen or look downfield to make a pass? These are all decisions that Sahil is making on the fly during the play based off what he is seeing from the defense. And so it's very impressive to see that level of trust that is put into your quarterback at this level of football, and to see him flourish in it and put together a drive like that while ultimately making all of those decisions as things go is a great offensive system when it works well.
And the Tomahawks have been really good at, in terms of my experience watching the games and calling the games in the booth the past few years. You look at the quarterbacks that have been along the way and having that same ability to be very adept to changing plays on the fly, whether you're going to keep it, whether you're going to toss it, whether you're going to quick pass, depending on what the defense is giving you.
And that RPO system is something you see even at the professional level, at the collegiate level. And so to see it at the high school level and to see it run the way that it is run, it all comes down to that level of trust that you have in your quarterback and your quarterback's ability to make those plays.
Perez on the kickoff return loses his footing before he got tackled by a few Tomahawk defenders. Looks like the Grizzlies will start from their 17-yard line.
Perez on the kickoff return.
I find it odd, Rob, that Perez, I get it, high school football, playing both sides of the ball, regardless of what position you play. But to put somebody that you have as your captain, as the guy who's going to be the catalyst for your offense, and have him play defense and have him play on special teams, you just have to wonder how much you're putting yourself out there for the potential of anything to happen, right? Again, they utilize their running backs and their slot receivers to do a lot of the shifting in their running game. So he's not really doing a lot of contact in that aspect of it, but just to put yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the age-old saying of the best man plays, so he is a very, very well-rounded athlete. He's able to make those plays as a quarterback, able to make the plays on defense. I believe he's even the punter for them. Haven't seen him in action doing that yet tonight, but he's just a very, very well-rounded, talented athlete. And so if you have the abilities, yes, there is the risks that come with it as well, but if you have that level of athletic ability, why not use him in all aspects of the game?
Inside handoff.
And another late flag as a result of a late hit along the sideline.
Leclerc able to get outside, turn the
13
corner.
on the carry, taken down by Doyle.
Pushed out of bounds by Doyle. Looked like he picked up about 12 on that play before we had.
He's going to get 15 more on top of it. Another late hit. You know, you always hate to see that level of chippiness and all that. You always want to see him play a good, clean game of football, especially at this level.
The result of the play is a first down. We have a dead ball foul, personal foul, late hit out of bounds on a defense. It's a 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
And now, before even the end of the first quarter, we've seen three personal foul penalties against both teams. I would imagine both coaches will speak to their teams at the break about cleaning things up and playing a more honest game here.
Inside handoff. Looks like Schmidt was the ball carrier. Pickup of about 5.
And that was Ozog on the tackle. If you watch Ozog, he plays that outside linebacker style position where he might be in tight and showing a DN look, or he might spread out a little bit coming off of the edge. And it's very hard for the offensive line to adjust to, because he may even stay back and drop back into coverage in certain points, but he is going to be a playmaker on this defense for the Tomahawks, whether he's in coverage or if he's coming off the line blitzing and making a play behind the line.
That was Lynn on the carry.
And we're seeing a lot of that run game. As we talked about at the start of the game, both teams are very run-heavy offenses, and we're seeing a lot of that here so far. I expect, as a result of this much run in this first quarter and how successful it has been, that it will open up the pass game a little bit for both teams as they draw the defense in and make them expect that run, and then they'll look to take that shot down the field.
Time winding down in the first quarter. Up.
It's going to be a false start against the Grizzlies.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense.
And with that motion, with that slot receiver moving motion either right or left, it really sets up for that inside run or that inside counter, depending on which direction they want to go.
Yeah, it's those quick handoffs after taking the snap from under center, and they're able to do a lot with it, as you said. Either turn it into the counter, or they hand it off, or Perez might even keep it himself and tuck it underneath. They are able to do a lot out of that set, and we're seeing them set it up here. That is the end of the first quarter as well, following the penalty.
Tomahawks are penalized for 2 unsportsmanlike. So that cost them 30 yards after whatever gains the Grizzlies had. And the Grizzlies got penalized for one of those, one as well.
Nice little moment here for the cheerleaders.
Absolutely. Rob, we were talking a little bit, off camera earlier about, some additions to the Tomahawks coaching staff this season.
Yeah, absolutely. You might see a familiar face or back of the head, if you will, given the camera angle. And that is of legendary Keith Jones, the former head coach of the Milford Spartans, was over in Milford for at least 20 years, I believe, stepped down after last season. And now he is the special ed department head here at Merrimack, and is also doing some stuff with the team as well. So you might see him along the sidelines here tonight, but a very cool addition for the Tomahawks to have such a legendary head coach and a very long tenure here in New Hampshire to add his level of expertise to the Tomahawks as well. Another big addition for the Tomahawks as well is a alumni, Jake Dembo. He graduated I believe in the 90s.
Wow.
And after graduating, went on to Marist College, where he then became a coach at Marist College. Started off as the offensive line coach, became the offensive coordinator, and with the transition of staff there, he left Marist and is now with the Tomahawks as well.
So some college experience. Perez drops back.
So,
We went to,
sorry, guys. We actually have a photo of Jake's brother Alex and his dad Steve I was trying to get to.
okay.
Just working out some kinks over
No
here.
worries.
Gotcha.
Pushed out of bounds
Look
by
like Perez
They're
on
actually
the
in the
quarterback
stands tonight.
keeper.
So
Oh,
we got
nice.
their
There it
smiling
is.
faces right there.
That is Coach Dembo's father and brother. His mother also a longtime member of the community. She worked at Merrimack Middle School. I'm not sure if she's still there, but she was a paraeducator when I went to Merrimack Middle School. And so
Nice.
I've known them for a very long time. Great people, great residents of Merrimack.
And guys, we're going to get all these kinks worked out by the end of this first game. I promise you. I promise you.
Grizzlies with an inside handoff. Looks like it was
carry, taken down by Ray.
Jurgen Gannon.
It's like 3rd and 8.
Pickup of 2, bring up 3rd and 8. Kind of missed what happened on that first play. Could have been a little razzle-dazzle with a pop back because Perez was up the field. Flea flicker or something. Perez drops back, looking for a receiver. Oh, and another late hit. Yep.
And it is going to get called as well.
Ball intended for 33 Schmidt.
Schmidt, the intended receiver.
And again, that's so hard to
All right,
see. You
ball
make a
intended for
stop
Williams,
on
flag on
defense on a
play.
3rd down, force them into a 4th and long in a deep back away, perhaps not 4-down territory, and then to give up a 15-yard penalty after making a stop like that.
Yeah, that was Marshall with the late hit out of bounds.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass, but we do have a dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Hit out of bounds. It's a 15-yard penalty, which does result in a 1st down.
So that's 3 penalties of 15 yards assessed against the Tomahawks in the first half.
Yeah, and guys, that's mighty costly for the Tomahawks. But you know what isn't costly is the Merrimack TV app, because it's a free download from your device's app store. You can download Merrimack TV on your iPhone, Android, Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire device to watch live varsity sports, concerts, meetings, events, and other on-demand content. As the Grizzlies making a good play here.
That was Leclerc.
A big gain after the
13 on carry,
penalty
taken out by DiMaggio.
puts the Grizzlies inside the Tomahawks 10-yard line, or just on the Tomahawks 10-yard line. And that's what we were talking about before, shifting that momentum. You had a stop, you had them backed up, and now you're looking at a 1st and goal or 1st and just outside of goal because of a scrappy, unnecessary penalty.
And you know from playing, I mean, you get some of these young guys that are, you know, they're playing in their first game, getting an opportunity to play at home. Nice job on the Tomahawks sealing the outside.
And you're right. I
Down the carry,
do
taken down
understand
by
to a certain
Ozark.
degree football is a game of emotions, and
Ozark,
emotions do run high, but the most disciplined players are always those that can keep their emotions in check and use that emotion in the best way possible. And hits like that along the sideline are not what you want to see.
No, not at all. And you know Coach Jackson will have an earful for the team.
Oh, most certainly.
Grizzlies able to pick up 3 on that play, bring up 2nd and 7. 2nd and goal. Oh, and he slips. That was Lynn.
Hey, Nathan's helmet's off.
Looks like Nathan Sadia's helmet came off during that play. By rule, he does need to come off the field for at least one play.
Looks like that slide by Lynn cost the Grizzlies 3 yards.
Potentially cost them a touchdown as well. It looked like he had some open field in front of him if he was able to keep his footing.
See if the Tomahawks can come up with a big stop here. Looks like the Grizzlies
Charge
had a
timeout, Goffstown. That is their second charge timeout for the first half.
Grizzlies not liking the look they get up front. That is head coach John Preston in his first year at the helm of the Goffstown Grizzlies. Preston is a New Hampshire native. He grew up in Tilton and played football at Bishop Brady before going on to a prep school in Massachusetts. And most recently, he was coaching at a high school in Indiana before taking this job and coming back to New Hampshire. So definitely a New Hampshire native, has some experience in the New Hampshire football realm and bring a new level of perspective to Goffstown Grizzlies football. And again, the record doesn't necessarily reflect the team that they are so far this season. 2 very close games that they lost. So very exciting for the Goffstown Grizzlies to have a coach like Preston taking things over and moving their program in the right direction.
Absolutely. And like you said, Rob, I mean, the 2 games they lost to, Concord and Bishop Girton, and both games were within their grasp. And so it's interesting to see where their program's going to go. They've got some bright days ahead of them.
Absolutely.
Leclerc looking to pass. I'm sorry, that Perez. Oh, had a man wide open. Looked like Samard was the intended receiver. He was wide open, couldn't come up with the catch.
Field does look like it is a bit slippery tonight. We've seen a couple players lose their footing and not able to keep moving in the direction they want to go, but that ball still hit them in the hands, unable to come up with it. That would have put the Grizzlies at about the 1 yard line for a 4th and goal and perhaps a QB sneak or a tush push, if you will. But now they're looking at a 4th down in 11 from the goal line. So instead, they're going to attempt the field goal.
McKenna Kelly's on. Snaps down, kicks up, and the kick is good.
And what a boot from Kelly as well. That was good by a mile. A couple of Tomahawks able to get some pressure on that. They got through the middle, but not close enough to get a hand on the ball. So the Grizzlies do put 3 more up and advance their lead to 4.
You got to wonder how that missed extra point is going to play out later in the second half. That 1 point could be costly, or it could be an advantage depending on what the Tomahawks can do. And then you also have to consider, like you mentioned, we had some precipitation this morning, and it's been kind of humid, and it's cooling down. And so you wonder how much condensation is going to actually hit that field and contribute to it being a slicker surface during the second half.
I do remember from my playing days that it does get very slippery out there, and it almost is an advantage for the Tomahawks late in the season because they develop a tolerance for it.
Exactly.
They know it reminds me of the old school Celtics playing on the parquet floor knowing where the dead spots are. Mm-hmm. But with this early in the season, some of the players not super familiar with the field yet, with this being their home opener, so it can't necessarily work as that advantage quite yet, but later in the season, I do remember us taking advantage of that.
Nice return by LaMontagne.
LaMontagne on the reception.
And another good return. We've seen 2 from him now. It's such a huge little detail, special teams, special plays, special players, to be able to set up your offense in a good position, and it starts with those special teams.
Yeah, it was a return about 15, 16 yards, and so Tomahawks get to start on their 32-yard line. They're not buried back deep in their zone, so. And there's plenty of time on the clock to see what Sahil and the offense can do.
Tomahawks on their third drive now. First one stalled out, resulted in a turnover. Second one they put in the end zone. We get a look here to see what they are able to do, but they aren't quite ready yet. Looks like some confusion on the offense, missing a player out on the field. Going to have to burn a timeout.
And gentlemen, I do have a couple shout outs while we have 1 second here. We got Roseanne Hawthorne. She says, "Go Tomahawks," with a nice football emoji. And of course, Caroline Masty Masterson said, "Let's go Tomahawks, let's do this." And several nice emojis following that as well.
Nice.
So thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Roseanne. And if you want to shout out, head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/MerrimackTV, and leave a comment. And we'll get at you at some point during the game. We'd love to hear from you. Whether you're rooting for Tomahawks, whether you're rooting for the Grizzlies, leave a comment.
Looked like the Tomahawks had some confusion there. Rete kind of didn't know if he was in or out. Offense was able to reset. So he'll back to pass. Pocket breaks down, able to escape a couple defenders. Nice.
Again, that's Sahil's ability to extend the play, get creative, use his legs to find an open man, and he turned what would have been a 6-7 yard sack into a short gain, but of course 2 yards is better than losing 7.
Absolutely.
So just showing his ability to extend that play and keep things alive even after the pocket collapses and he starts feeling that pressure. That's one of those steps we were talking about earlier in maturing as a quarterback and not panicking as soon as you feel that pressure and feel the need to get the ball out of your hands or to go down.
Gorman was the recipient of that last pass. Nice pass out in the flat to Ozog.
That's Ozog's first target and reception of the game. Ozog, of course, suffered a off-season injury that put him out for the first game of the season. Only played defense in the second, and now we're seeing him full go in this game. Coach Jackson said it was the best birthday present he got. On his birthday was when he was cleared to return to action, and he played that Friday.
It was an inside handoff to Antonio DiPietrantonio.
And there's Ozog there with his mom, another leader, captain on this team, and he dons the number 10 as well, which is very important to the Merrimack community. For those who know, that is the number of Timothy Gibson, a legend in the Merrimack community. He was a student and a quarterback for the Tomahawks long ago and gave his life in service as a Marine. So he is very well remembered, and that number is earned on the Tomahawks nowadays. It is not something that a player can select. It is given by the Gibson family and the coaching staff to who they determine is most deserving of that number 10. So very exciting for Josh Ozog. He certainly is someone who deserves to be wearing that number.
What a great honor. Ozog on that reception. Tomahawks moving the ball in the chains.
And speaking of numbers, they call Ozog's number again.
First down.
You got to wonder, he came up a little ginger on that after taking that shot off the knee. Interesting story about the Gibsons is Mr. Gibson, longtime baseball official, and I had the privilege of, when I was doing baseball games, to umpire some games with him along the way over the years.
And that is going to be a false start against Ozog.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
Looks like he had a little turf stuck in his mask.
And Mr. Gibson as well, of course, on the sideline for as many Tomahawk games as he can be at.
Absolutely.
You will see him along the sideline there somewhere. Forever a supporter of the Tomahawks, and we appreciate him for doing that. I remember from my playing days, I always loved to see him on the sideline and made it a point to say hello to him and to give him a hug before every game.
He's good people. Gibsons are good people. Sahil on the keeper. Look at that. There's that patience again. Just waiting for things to develop in front of him.
And again, keeping cool under pressure. In his view right now, he sees 6-7 Grizzlies right in front of him. And to slow things down, try to cut it back. Ended up getting an extra yard or two out of it. So again, it's that patience. It's that field smarts in the moment to make plays like that and to still go down in a relatively safe way and manage to avoid a big hit.
Lamontagne on the carry on the pitch.
Lamontagne on the carry, taken down by Denard.
We're seeing the Tomahawks open up the pass game a little bit. That play, of course, being a rush, but a couple of throws, a couple of looks there. But again, it is that RPO offense, so it is in the hands of Sahil to decide to hand it off or if he wants to pull it in and make those throws.
Lamontagne on the carry, taken down by Samart. Just shy of another.
Lamontagne again right up the middle, right up the gut.
3rd and 1.
Not as many yards that time. Going to give the Tomahawks a 3rd and short.
Ball's tipped. Oh, right through Egan's hands.
A lot of movement going on with the ball there. You see them bobble the snap a little bit. Then it's thrown and tipped at the line and then through the hands of Egan.
I would have almost expected the Tomahawks to run on that play.
Especially, you see the offense still on the field here. You'd think they knew before that play that they were still going to go for it if necessary on 4th. You're right. You would think that they would try to rip off a chunk of that with a run, something outside as they ran it through the middle twice with Lamontagne. You'd think to see them bounce it outside a little bit on that play.
Now they're going to the air again. Oh!
And again, you think about how much the elements come into play.
Dine the intended receiver right through his mitts. I would have thought they would have called a run on that play. At least on one of those plays. It was so effective to pick up that yard, to go down and have to turn the ball over in the red zone. This series could come back to bite the Tomahawks in the second half.
But you can also wonder, were they thinking a step ahead that the Grizzlies were also expecting them to run the ball?
True.
So instead they decide to turn to the pass. And the throws were there. The receivers were open. But unfortunately, the ball looking a bit slippery and receivers not able to bring it down.
Schmidt on the inside. Oh. Right into a sea of blue. The Tomahawks can come up with a big stop here. Still plenty of time in the second quarter. Excuse me. Looks like Schmidt picked up 3 on that play.
No gain.
Brandon Lilly in his 10th season as well at the helm of the defense for the Tomahawks, calling the shots. Has always been the style of having multiple lines in and out, multiple guys, being able to keep things fresh.
Ozog with a great containment tackle. Chapman tried to get to the outside, and Ozog able to break the defender and get outside and seal that. And that was a great play.
And that's great discipline by Ozog as well. He feels the pressure of the block, but he's able to get engaged, keep his head on the outside, and still stay in control and making sure that he is keeping the containment. And when the time is right, shed that block, get off, and make the tackle. So very, very excellent play. That is something that is gone over constantly in practice of how to engage those blocks, how to get off those blocks and make those plays in those situations, because those situations make and break big plays. Without that tackle, that run could go for 15, 20 yards, if not more. So great play by Ozog to make a tackle for a loss and bring up a 3rd and long.
Oh, Tomahawk's going to get called for offsides and encroachment. Neutral zone infraction.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on a defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Still 3rd and long.
Perhaps a third and more manageable now if you're the Grizzlies after getting a free 5 yards.
I mean, overall, you strip out the 3 penalties that cost the Tomahawks 45 yards. Without that, Coach Jackson's got to be happy with how they played. And now we're going to have a false start on the Grizzlies. So that's going to cost them
Take
the 5
back the yards that they just got
just
from the encroachment
exactly.
penalty and put them back in a 3rd and 14 situation.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And you have to think that this is going to be a pass.
Look to see the pass or perhaps a run to just get the clock moving. It is late in the 2nd quarter. I would expect either a run here or a quick screen to the outside or slant route, something fast.
Perez drops back. Oh, he's airing it out. And we have a catch and we have a flag.
I believe they ruled the catch incomplete. I think he was out of bounds. His feet were on the line as he was coming down with it, but they are going to call the flag for pass interference against the Tomahawks. Great catch either way, whether it counts or not.
That was Hastings on the reception. Great control, concentration, I should say.
Hastings, of course, I watched the film from last week's game, made an incredible catch last week against Bishop Garton where it was tipped up in the air and he was bobbling with it, able to come down with it and bring it in for the touchdown. And watching the broadcast, they did say the wrong name. So Jaden Hastings, incredible catch, well done on the touchdown last week, and great catch there as well. We'll see if they end up counting or if it ends up just going off the penalty, but incredibly well done by Jaden Hastings.
Guys, I want to mention Don Witzla-Gay says, "Go Tomahawks," with a plethora of blue heart and football emojis. So thank you, Don. Anyone else that wants a shout out, facebook.com/Merrimack TV. Leave a comment. We'll get at ya.
Looks like this penalty is going against the Grizzlies as offensive pass interference. Or maybe not. No. They're going back to where the ball was originally spotted.
Yeah, they're finding the original spot before assessing the penalty.
Rolling on the field was an incomplete pass out of bounds, but we do have pass interference on the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. That 15-yard penalty does result in a 1st down.
And in high school, it's not a spot foul, much like college. It is a 15-yard penalty, but unlike college, it is not an automatic 1st down. Given the fact that it is a 15-yard penalty, most of the time it does result in a 1st. There it was 3rd and 14, so just enough to give the Grizzlies a 1st down.
Inside handoff to Gannon. Swallowed up by the defense. Pickup of about 2.
Gannon on the carry, taken down by.
And that's another situation with the Tomahawks. You get a stop, you put them in a long situation, but it's the rough around the edges, the costly mistakes that result in giving to this offense when your defense otherwise is putting together a good game. But it's just these mistakes that are allowing the Grizzlies offense to stay on the field and stay in control late in the 1st half.
And you have to wonder how much is this going to impact the Tomahawks in the 2nd half in terms of the defense being out there as long as they are. Perez able to escape some tacklers, get some good blocking. And then once again,
another late penalty there. Perez, outstanding job with the legs, keeping the play alive, takes it all the way to the opposite side of the field to find something, get down the field by about 15 yards, 20 yards up the sideline. Lots of patience, lots of athleticism.
And it looks like it's going to be Connor Marshall called on that.
Quarterback keeper, but there was a flag on the play.
For that penalty.
I tell you what, I will not want to be in the locker room at halftime of this game if you're on the Tomahawks. Coach Jackson, who is very, very heavy emphasis on playing clean football, playing disciplined football, and
Mm-hmm.
being good people on the field. So seeing how the Tomahawks are being a bit chippy here, I have a strong feeling that
Right.
Coach Jackson will let his team know that he is dissatisfied
Dissatisfied.
with what he is seeing so far.
This would be where I would say in my conversation, I am not impressed.
Not impressed indeed.
Not
I think he
impressed.
may have some other words other than not impressed. But he certainly is going to have a conversation with this Tomahawks team going into the half, and you hope that you'd see them come out in the second half and play a little bit cleaner.
After the play was over, dead ball foul, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. On the defense, that's a 15-yard penalty that will be enforced. It will still be second down.
So the Grizzlies got called for a block in the back or a push in the back. And then the Tomahawks get called for the unsportsmanlike. So that's
Correct,
4
second
now.
down. After enforcement of the dead ball foul, it results in a by yardage.
Wow. I'm glad these guys can keep track of all this because there's a lot of yards going back and forth.
And with it being a dead ball foul and it being after the play and an unsportsmanlike penalty, it is not a situation where the penalties offset themselves. So that's why you see the Grizzlies coming away with the first down here.
Little confusion in the backfield. Perez able to get that ball to Leclerc. Looked like there was a little miscommunication on where Leclerc was going to go. Still able to pick up about 4 yards on that play.
Stop by Ozark.
One of the fundamentals in playing defense is stay home, right? So you see the play develop and you see it going away from you on the other side of the field. You always got to be ready for that cutback. You got to expect that it is coming and stay disciplined, stay home, and be ready for those cutbacks because if you don't, it results in plays like that. They're lucky it doesn't go for longer.
Right.
Some linebacker was there to follow his key and to make the play, but always got to stay home.
Nice counter. That was Gannon. Able to pick up about 9 on that play. Grizzlies come away with a first down.
Gannon on the carry, stopped by Egan. First down.
Now in Tomahawk territory. Ball on the Tomahawk 46. Grizzlies going with a little bit of a hurry up. Perez drops back. Big throw. Oh, had a man wide open. That was Hastings.
For Hastings.
Deep shot down the field. I was about to mention as well that you would expect the Grizzlies to look to take a shot here. They've been driving the ball and biting those little chunks as they can, but with having to burn 2 timeouts early in this half because of different looks that they had, now you're late in the first half. You have 1 minute and 27 seconds left. That style of offense that they have been running is not going to get them down in the field in time. So I was about to say that they would look to take a shot at some point soon to move the ball further, and there it was.
Perez again. Leclerc, the intended receiver,
Ball intended for 13. And
just a little outside of his grasp.
3rd and 10.
Perez is getting some good. He's got some good time. His offensive line has given him some good, ability to be back and set up and find his, go through his checks and his reads. Both these pass plays, he had men wide open, just not able to connect.
I would expect the Grizzlies to run the ball here, get the clock moving, force the Tomahawks to take time out.
Charge.
Looks like the Grizzlies are going to take their last timeout of the half. But now a decision to make if you're the Grizzlies. Do you take a shot and try to keep this drive alive and put points up on the board before the half? Or do you play conservatively, run the ball, get the clock moving, and then just try to keep the Tomahawks out of the end zone and off the scoreboard for the remainder of the half? It's kind of that weird point where there's enough time to keep putting things together, but with no timeouts and with your run game being the most efficient part of your offense right now, it is a very tough decision to make if you are head coach John Preston. So interested to see here what the Grizzlies decide to do. Definitely could be a big momentum shifter play here that we're about to see.
You run, you take the chance, you run the clock out. I mean, you may be able to get another play off. If you get a short gain, then you got they're running a hurry-up style of offense, so they may be able to get another play, another chunk play, and maybe a play action. Get something out of bounds, maybe a quick slant going outside, hit the sideline, stop the clock. It'll be interesting to see. Tomahawks still have 2 timeouts, I think.
Yes, they still have 2 timeouts remaining.
Perez with the fake, play action. Gets swallowed up. Looks like Sadia's in there on that tackle.
And there might be some laundry down in the field once again on the sideline that we can't see at the moment. Officials talking things over, but that is a big stop for the Tomahawks. They are going to use a timeout to conserve the clock there as well to prevent the Grizzlies from burning it as much as possible before punting it away, as you would expect.
That was a big stop. Sadia on the inside, I mean, able to gobble up the run. So Tomahawks could come away, and then you expect, depending on what they can do with the return.
And, of course, that was Nathan Sadia. His twin brother, JoJo, wears number 7. You see him on the field at the same time. One's a defensive lineman, one's a linebacker. What a cool story, a 1-2 punch to be out there with your twin brother and make plays like that. So, and both of them very, very talented athletes as well.
Very
bring
much so.
A certain level of energy to that Tomahawks offense and defense. So, very, very cool to be able to play with your twin brother.
That would be cool.
And I'm sure there was a lot of sibling rivalry growing up between the two of them. As they say, iron sharpens iron.
And the punt is blocked. Perez able to come up with it. Pushed out of bounds right around the 41-yard line. Oh, what a beautiful play.
And that is huge for the Tomahawks. As mentioned, that is Perez at the punter as well, able to pick up the ball and try to do something with it, but the Tomahawks were there and able to shut that down. But
that was Nickel Stevens with a block. Oh, that was a great play.
And now you're looking at starting your offense with a minute to go in the half and 1 timeout. On the Grizzly side of the ball, you'd think to get at least a field goal out of a situation like this. But it all comes down to this Tomahawk offense and what they're able to put together in a short period of time with just 1 timeout left.
And you have to think that the sideline is your best friend right about now. 3 wide to the right. Sahil rolls out, pass. Incomplete. Ozog, the intended receiver, not able to come down with that.
And you're seeing Goffstown's defense spread things out a little bit more now. We hadn't seen that earlier on. They were packing the box a lot, but you see in this play they're expecting that pass. They're expecting the Tomahawks to take some shots, so they're going to back up their linebackers a little bit. They're going to put in an extra man in the secondary to try to provide that extra level of coverage.
Oh! Pass intended for, was that
Caden Dine, I believe.
Was it Dine? Yes, it was. One thing I will say, looking at Sahil this year versus last year, a lot more zip on the ball. So you know that, some off-season conditioning, strengthening. I mean, you can see that he's got a lot more velocity, his spiral's really tight. 3rd and 10 for the Tomahawks from the Grizzlies 40. Looking to keep it. Runs into his own lineman. Barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And the Grizzlies now, again, no timeouts left. So in this 4th down situation, the Tomahawks can either just run the clock down and then punt it away, or they can run until there's just about nothing left on the clock and take a shot.
Carry with
Either way, in this situation here, the
Varsity
Tomahawks
Company.
have pretty much full control over deciding what happens for the
Absolutely.
remainder of this first half.
Looks like they may be content to let it run as far down as they can. Now we're going to have a late.
Timeout, Merrimack. That is their third and final timeout for the first half.
So Tomahawks opt to let the clock run down about 6 seconds before taking their last timeout.
Interested to see here now what the Tomahawks do. Do they look for a Hail Mary type of situation and just take a shot in the dark and see if there's something that they can get? Do they punt the ball away and just run the clock out? With it being fourth down as well, it's not as though you can take a quick 5-yard out route to the sideline or anything like that. So interested to see what Coach Jackson as well as Coach Bunis drop for this offense here before the half.
You know the Grizzlies will put a nickel in and play pretty deep prevent. Thomas go with trips right. Looks like they're going to go the Hail Mary route. Sahil chucks it up. Grizzlies able to defend and knock the ball away as time expires.
pass intended for those.
Did have a chance there. The ball was up in the air, but the Grizzlies able to knock it away from any reach of any of the Tomahawks out there, and content with just putting the ball on the ground and not letting anything else come of it. Lots to talk about for both teams going into this halftime period. Both coaches, a lot of good to talk about, as well as a lot of adjustments that need to be made on both sides of the ball. We've seen signs of life from both teams' offenses, but overall, it's been a run-heavy game so far. Lots of costly mistakes from both sides. Those penalties that we've seen mostly from the Tomahawks, but from both teams as well. So I would imagine a lot of conversations to be held in these locker rooms for these two teams. And we may see a very different second half than we saw in this first half.
Absolutely. You have to think that both teams are coming away with some good things like you mentioned, Rob. I mean, both offenses have had some really good plays, had established some good momentum before a penalty derailed them. And both defenses, you know, the Grizzlies have played great defense against the pass. And the Tomahawks, for the most part, if they can contain the outside, if they can do more what Ozog did on that one play, contain and shed that outside blocker and be able to get to that running back or that wide receiver when they're doing that wide out, they can definitely do some damage and contain the Grizzlies and force them inside in the second half. So we've got some great football ahead of us.
Absolutely. But we also have some great entertainment in front of us, as well as the ever so talented Merrimack High School Marching Band presents us with their halftime show here on Merrimack TV. So we'll stop yapping here for a second and let the viewers out there enjoy the marching band.
And thanks again for tuning in to Merrimack TV's broadcast of Tomahawks football and for welcoming us into your home on a Friday night to hear Rob and I and Justin, yakety yak and talk football, have some fun.
Absolutely.
And guys, thank you both for being here tonight. Rob, thanks for coming back, and Andy, we're really happy to have you in the studio as well tonight. We actually have, looks like we got a photo here of Lucas Goldberg all suited up. We'll see if I can cue that up.
All right.
He's also a voice of the Merrimack Tomahawks, so you'll hear him for soccer throughout the season here. He's been on for some volleyball to fill in a little bit, and we're great to see Lucas out on the field. He said he does a good job out on the bench, but he's happy to be part of the team, and he's absolute gem of a game caller, so we're happy to have him as well.
Absolutely. And for folks at home, Lucas and I tag team for hockey. Last season he joined me as my color guy for the hockey broadcasts here on Merrimack TV, and he's done a great job. He's also hung out with Brian Gagnon doing basketball games, and definitely maybe will follow in Rob's footsteps, go to college to do sports communications and see where that takes him. He's definitely got a passion for it, and he's really good at it. Is just a great young man and a great addition to what we're doing here at Merrimack TV.
Yes, absolutely. And before we let the band get started here, here's RJ Beck on the left and Brendan McWalter on the right. They are leading the marching band tonight, so we want to thank them so much for their efforts to help these students excel on and off the field. And gentlemen, I'm going to be cutting your mics for now, and I'm going to be cranking this up for the folks at home. All right, and another fantastic performance by the Merrimack Marching Band there. I'd like to thank Brendan McWalter and RJ Beck for the work they do to get those students prepared for the big Friday Night Light show. We got a few minutes here, so I'm gonna check our Facebook feed here, see if we got any shout outs. We of course have Brian Gagnon on the line. You may know Brian Gagnon, he calls our basketball games, he calls our volleyball games, calls all kinds of stuff. Might even call you if you ask him nicely. He says he's actually watching from the gym at the girls volleyball game, and this is an update from the volleyball game. He says it's an insane game against Concord. Comeback win for the Tomahawks in game 4 to force a 5th game. So I'm not sure how that 5th game stands, but thanks, Brian. Always good to hear from you. And a little Sarah Cameron says, go Tomahawks. And Robin Smith says she is watching from the bleachers. So great to hear from all of you. Thanks so much. If you want to shout out, head on over to our Facebook page, leave a comment under the post about tonight's game, and we'll try and get at you before this game wraps up. And if you're enjoying the game, you can always check out more MHS sports action by downloading the Merrimack TV app. Merrimack TV is a free download from your device's app store. Download Merrimack TV on your iPhone, Android, Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire device to watch live varsity sports, concerts, meetings, events, and other on-demand content. You're watching Merrimack TV, your community, your voice. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think my favorite part about the Merrimack TV app, other than being a free download, is of course that you download it and you don't need a login, you don't need a password. You download it, you open it up, and it's ready to go. You punch in what you want to see. There's already stuff up there. Look, something tickles your fancy, you can click on it. It's ready to just play. So you can check that out really anywhere where you can download an app and get that Merrimack TV app. And we had all hands on deck tonight, so I'm going to see if I can pull up a couple videos here. Not sure if we have audio on them or not tonight. We'll bring this up here. We got the Grizzlies at the start of the game tonight. Grizzlies coming in. And here are your Merrimack cheerleaders. Here's some fans arriving to the stands. And of course, if you were down there and viewing this, you can see that it is some sort of Hawaiian theme tonight. Even Tommy Hawk is wearing the Hawaiian theme. And got more of the theme filling out there, a little Hawaiian. And of course, it feels like a little bit of a tropical storm out there, if you will. So that really fills in pretty well. And of course, the Merrimack Tomahawks taking the field as well earlier in the evening. So great to see them. And there's Tommy Hawk himself. Not sure if that's actually his name. And coming up next week, of course, we got some more games for you. We got a fresh face on Tuesday night that's going to be running camera. He's going to be our third new on-call guy trying to give us a hand here. Sean Diggins will be running camera for the boys soccer match against BG. That is slated for 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Be called by Lucas Goldberg, as far as I understand. Wednesday evening, the 25th, we will have volleyball as Bishop Girton comes back into town to face a very tough Merrimack Tomahawks volleyball team. So we'll be looking forward to that match. And I hear a whistle, but I'm still gonna keep going here. Thursday, girls soccer, 4 p.m. They welcome Hanover. And Thursday morning, if you happen to be around, we're doing a Sauhegan River Trail ribbon cutting ceremony down by the Central.
All right,
Central
if anybody
Station.
bought a 50-50 raffle ticket, we're going to call out the number in a moment here.
So if you're around about 11 a.m. on Sauhegan River Trail,
Tonight's
right by
50-50
Central
raffle
Station,
number
we're
is
gonna be doing a ribbon cutting then. If you missed that, you can catch that on Merrimack TV app.
37.
And I'm going to send this back into the
That's
studio
87
for
17
Rob and
37.
Andy.
Bill, lucky winner, come on up to the booth.
And
They're
I
ready to
got some
go.
money for you.
do have some other scores from around the state. Just checking in on some other games. Alvern leads Timberlane 21-14 with about 4 minutes to go in the first half. Londonderry leads Concord 14-0 with just under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Salem leads Dover 21-13 with about 4 minutes to go in the first half. North just scored a 75-yard touchdown to take a 12-7 lead over Keene at the start of the second half. And Winnicott and Central are tied at 7 apiece at halftime. A couple of scores for you from around the state. Close games all around.
Absolutely, and you have to, be amazed that the Timberlane is only a score down off Alvern. Alvern has been playing lights out thus far this year. A couple other notable matchups tonight. Bedford 2-0 is playing against BG, which is they're 1-1, and Pinkerton is playing Wyndham, which is again another interesting matchup to see how the standings in Division I shake out. This is a really interesting. Going to be an interesting weekend for football.
Absolutely. Now back to the game at foot here.
Absolutely.
Very interesting first half. A run-heavy first half from both teams. The Tomahawks' only touchdown coming from Sahil Majower, and Goffstown's coming from a short run earlier by, I believe it was Schmidt. But the story of the first half has been those penalties coming from mostly the Tomahawks, but both sides, all very avoidable penalties, very costly mistakes, lots of late hits, some chip shots, and some of that unclean football that you don't like to see. As we mentioned before the half, I would imagine a lot of conversations were had in the locker room, especially by Coach Jackson, who has zero tolerance for things like that. So I would hope to see some improvements on that front from both sides. And now leading into the second half, I wonder how much we're going to see in the passing game from either team. It looked like the elements came into play a little bit. Ball's looking a little bit slippery, unable to complete those passes from both teams. So, Andy, I don't know what you expect, what you're thinking about the pass game, or if both teams are going to commit to the run.
I think you're going to see the run set up the pass. And I think both teams found confidence in the run game. I think with the Goffstown coming out with that wishbone, that offset where they're bringing that slot receiver in motion, and then either it's a quick handoff that way or they're going with a counter. I think they're going to use that to their advantage. The Tomahawks, Bourgeois has been phenomenal just in his ability to read the play, what's going on in front of him. Just on the bad side of the receiving end, for his receivers, with a couple passes going through hands. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. I think both teams are going to start out with run, and then you're going to see the pass come in to play. And I think you're going to see one of these teams break out. Someone's going to get a reception. It's going to be either Ozog for the Tomahawks is going to break something out. I'm possibly Egan, but definitely watch Hastings. Hastings is definitely seems to be Perez's favorite target, and I think you're going to see one of those three guys come away with a big play.
And quite a few looks for all the guys you mentioned as well, just nothing coming to fruition quite yet. But both teams doing a very good job of preventing that big play, right?
Absolutely.
They've kept everything very short, very clean. And we haven't seen either team break away anything huge, aside from LaMontagne's first return after the Goffstown touchdown. Everything is, I think the longest run aside from that has been about 15 yards. So
about 15, 16 yards, absolutely. Tomahawks kicking off. Looks like Perez on the return.
There is a flag on the field. I believe it was a holding against Goffstown. Officials talking it over. But if the return stands, Perez was able to take it out to about the 37-yard line. Pretty good field position to open up the second half. Remember, Goffstown did kick off to start this game, but they came away with it off that little trickery onside kick situation. So huge advantage to get the ball again here to start this second half.
But this penalty could push them back even further.
During the return, holding, return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Goffstown.
So it looks like they're going to start just outside of their 20. Ball looks to be on the 22-yard line. And then we go with the counter right to Schmidt. Nice pickup of about 6 or 7 on that play.
Take another look at it here. Again, we see that motion from the slot back and a little bit, again, trickery, if you will, trying to confuse the Tomahawks defense as to where the ball is going to go.
Schmidt had some great blocking in front, opened up those gaps. That was a huge hole for him to get good penetration deep into the second level. Looks like he picked up 9 on that play.
And this was a point that Coach Jackson talked about in our conversation yesterday. He said one of the biggest keys to this game is winning first downs. And this is an example here of the defense unable to do that. But by winning first downs, you set the tempo early on, you gain that control. So that is something that the Tomahawks are going to look to continue to do. But in this drive so far, that has been Goffstown winning those first downs.
Another counter. Ozog able to come inside.
Schmidt comes back on the field. I think what we missed during the replay, Schmidt was a bit shooken up after the last play that they had to blow the whistle and the trainers came out, but he got right back up and exited the field. But by rule, he did have to exit the field for at least one play. So happy to see it wasn't any major injury. He is back out on the field for the Grizzlies now.
Grizzlies able to come up with enough yardage for a first down. Perez out of the shotgun. Drops back. Looking for a receiver. That was a nice grab. Chapman. Great play on the sideline.
And that play was made by the Grizzlies offensive line. Perez dropping back, had all the time he needed in the pocket. Great front by the Grizzlies offensive line to keep that push from the Tomahawks in check and give their quarterback the time he needed to make that connection.
So gain of about 18 yards on that play. Ball spotted just over midfield. Perez back in the gun. Play fake, going deep. Oh, Hastings was the intended receiver.
Tipped away by Doyle.
Doyle able to get a fingertip on that just to move that ball.
That could have been that big play we were talking about as well. But Doyle able to prevent that just enough. That one hand, the little set the ball off its course was enough to make sure that that pass wasn't completed. And Hastings was behind him as well, so if that pass is completed, you would imagine it would have gotten the rest of the way for the touchdown.
Absolutely. So Lytle was back there on defense as well, and I was almost thinking when that ball was going to be up for grabs and he might have had a shot at that interception, but that ball did keep moving. And we got Schmidt on the handoff. Able to pick up about 4, maybe 5 on that play.
And going back to that long pass attempt a play ago, we did see Perez come out in a shotgun set, which we haven't seen a lot of so far in this game. He's been mostly under center, and he returned back to center on the following play. But we did see him come out in that shotgun kind of shotgun T formation.
For 2 sets, 2 plays back-to-back. So interesting to see that they're mixing it up. And this is exactly what we talked about. Are they going to go with more of that pass-laden offense? Perez on the keeper. Don't know if that was a busted play or not, Rob. I mean, that was interesting. It looked like he was looking for someone like to possibly look like he was going to pitch it on the counter.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, if it was supposed to be some sort of play fake because they have been going with those handoffs so often, and it was a designed keep for Perez, or if it ended up being a broken play. Either way, the Tomahawks were all over him, able to get the tackle for a 2 or 3 yard loss, and now put the Grizzlies in a 4th and long situation, coming out in their punt set again, which the only punt that they've had so far that the Tomahawks were able to block.
And they have a keeper. Oh, my goodness. Perez on the keeper. Wow. Picks up about 23 on that play. Holy smokes.
Big gain.
And that's, again, that big play we were talking about. You see the space open as a punter. Sometimes that's a called fake. Sometimes that's a decision made by Perez on the spot if he sees that wide open lane on the right side and says to himself, you know what, I'm just going to hold on to it and tuck it on and see if I can get this first down.
And he did.
He did indeed.
Heads-up play. Heads-up play by Perez. But, you know, this is what we're talking about. What is going to be the big play to really establish for either side? And we see that the Grizzlies are really taking control. The momentum's in their corner right now. Oh, we got a flag.
I believe it's going to be a face mask going against the Tomahawks. It looked like there was a little bit of a hand in the face there.
Carry, stopped by Stevens.
Leclerc with a great carry, able to bounce off a couple of defenders.
Credit to the officials as well in this game. They've been very thorough in their discussions, which you love to see. Talking it over with each other, making sure they're making the right calls before they announce it and having those discussions.
During the run, personal foul, face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal from the end of the run, results in a first.
You called it, Rob, face mask.
And once again, another costly penalty for the Tomahawks. This one, of course, if you will, slightly more acceptable than the previous ones. It was not intentional, but still very hard to see for this Tomahawks defense. Very deflating for them.
Grizzlies inside the Tomahawks red zone. 1st and 10 from the 12. Inside handoff, Schmidt. Looks like we're going to have another face mask.
I wasn't able to get a look on that one here. Glad we have the replay so I can check it out again. It may be a hold as well against the Grizzlies. We'll see what the officials come out and say.
It was interesting. It looked like could have been Marshall with a face mask. I'm not sure. No, but we're going to get the hold. Absolutely. Hold against the Grizzlies.
And that's so hard for the offensive linemen to, you get engaged and the defense sees the play developing and starts to turn their body to try to make the play. And you have to know the right time as the offensive lineman to just let go. Because as soon as the officials see that defender turning away from you and you still holding on, it's going to be a flag every time. And we'll take another look at it here. I believe it was the left tackle that got called for it. So take an eye on the left side here. And it's exactly that. He's turning away, and he hangs on to him, causing that kind of pulling motion, which is very easy for the officials to call.
Another inside handoff. Oh, Schmidt gobbled up at the line. Looks like Frankie was able to get in there, get an arm in. Great stop by the Tomahawks.
And now we're starting to see a little bit about what Jackson was describing about this team earlier this week, saying that they don't let a lot bother them. You make mistakes and those things happen, but it's how you respond. And so they give up a big play on that 4th down, then they have a 15-yard penalty, but then they respond and force the penalty for the Grizzlies and then make a huge play there. So they're not getting rattled by the mistakes they are making, and they are moving on to the next play and being able to have that short memory.
Short memory is huge. Leclerc on the slot handoff, coming around, gobbled up.
13
and that's another big play by the Tomahawks defensive front. If we watch that again, if we have a replay, you watch the defensive line shift in the direction of the run as soon as they see it developing, which opens things up for the secondary to be able to come downhill and make a play like that.
And that maybe the Tomahawks are picking up on that when they're watching that motion, because pretty much it's been consistent. Anytime that man is in motion, that's typically the direction that they've been running in, unless they run that counter.
And the Grizzlies in the gun again.
Perez tips. Oh, almost picked off by Ozog.
Ball intended for Samara.
Guys, I'm going to see if I can pull up this last play. We'll have one more look at it.
We are able to get another look at it. If you watch that defensive line for the Tomahawks, they're all flowing in the direction of the play. The secondary comes downhill, and it's a gang effort to make that tackle. That is textbook defense there for the Tomahawks. You would imagine that Lilly would be very, very happy with what his defense was able to put together on that play and now force a fourth down situation.
Looks like we're going to have a field goal attempt. That'll be Kelly on to try to attempt it. I think probably be a 35-yard field goal.
Kelly's first attempt looked like it would have been good for 40, so 37 here.
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly.
Ball's down, snaps up. And the kick is good. Very impressive. McKenna Kelly with a beautiful boot on that.
And that is great to see. At this level, you know, the kicking game can make such a difference in any football game. So to have a kicker that you feel confident in to be able to make a kick from 37, 40 yards at this level is huge. It opens up things for you offensively to know that confidence, to be able to take shots in certain situations, to know that if we don't make this play here, we can still turn to that field goal and make a play. That's something that's very rare at the high school level.
It is.
But it's such a huge advantage to have.
It is, and because you said you bring so much variety. And then if you throw in the wrinkle where you've got Perez back there, who is a phenomenal athlete, who sees the field very well, and then he's given basically full reign to be able to decide whether he wants to punt the ball or if he sees something open like we saw on that last play where you saw him just boot right around, had a full lane, 23 yards, I mean, or something along those lines. It was a phenomenal play. So for the Grizzlies, they got to be happy they came away with 3 points. Potentially could have had 7.
This another onside kick from the Grizzlies here.
And did they come away with the ball again? They did. My goodness.
This special teams unit for the Grizzlies has been all the difference for them so far in this game. Again, they catch the Tomahawks off guard. They onside kick it to the weak side. They only have 4 guys lined up on that side. So if you were to expect that onside kick, you would think it would come to the strong side. But they put it on that weak side. The Tomahawks guy in the front line is backed off a little bit. They catch him a little bit off guard and are able to come up with another huge special teams play.
The kick was not by
And unable to hear the ref here, but I believe I could figure out what he was saying. They were discussing whether or not the ball made it 10 yards
or not
before it was touched, because it has to reach the 10 yards before the kicking team is able to touch the ball. And they were, in fact, confirming that it did get the distance before the Grizzlies jumped on it.
I believe that was Jacob Gagne who came up with the ball. Inside handoff to Schmidt, able to push through. Look at him churn, pick up 10 yards, or a long 9 anyway.
And this is a very hard situation for the Tomahawks defense. You were just on the field for a very long drive that ate up half of this third quarter, and then to have one play off on that kick and then have to turn around and go right back out there. It's a very uncomfortable position to be in. It's very difficult. And again, showing all the difference that the special teams can make in these tight situations.
Schmidt with 9 yards on that play, 2nd and 1. Grizzlies looking to push, and Perez able to pick up about 3 on that.
That's smart situational football as well by the Grizzlies. 2nd and short, get yourself a new fresh set of downs. Just take the short gain and move the sticks and be able to reset on 1st down.
Really looking like special teams and penalties have been this game. Just looking at what's transpired, obviously the Tomahawks not getting the extra point. So special teams on that side. And then with 2 onside / pooch kicks where the Grizzlies have been able to recover, and then Perez with that just great 4th down run, and then Kelly with the 37-yard field goal. Perez drops back. Hastings out on the flat.
It looks like there's another flag down. I didn't see it, but with a flag that late and deep in the backfield, you would imagine it's going to be a roughing the passer call.
By Ozog.
Ozog on the defensive stop. The refs are going to sit there and
officials again talking it over.
Penalty's going to be assessed against the
Dead ball
Tomahawks.
foul, personal foul on the defense, unnecessary roughness to the quarterback after the play was over. 15-yard penalty to the end of the run, first down.
That's 5 now against the Tomahawks.
That's almost the full length of the field and 15-yard penalties right there. 75 yards just in unnecessary roughness and unsportsmanlike conduct calls, that one being a roughing the passer.
Schmidt, handoff, able to get the outside. Grizzlies in the Tomahawks red zone again.
Spin of the carry, stopped by Dine.
Looks like it'll be 2nd and 4. Looks like the Grizzlies need to get to about the 6-yard line to get a first down.
And for the Tomahawks, this is a big stop that they need to have. If they allow a score here for the Grizzlies, it pushes this game likely to a 2-score game and makes it far more difficult to be playing from behind.
Well, it forces them to be one-dimensional, and you know they're just going to start to have to air the ball out to try to get down the field as quick as possible, manage clock.
Spin of the carry, taken down by.
And that is going to be enough for a first down for the Grizzlies. They take it down to the Tomahawks 5-yard line for a 1st and goal.
1st and goal for Goffstown.
Schmidt has been very effective on those counter runs. He's been able to gain, for the most part, 4 or 5 yards, 5, 6 yards right up the gut. Perez on the keeper. Tries to lunge for the goal line. Looks like he's going to be stopped just short.
And once again, a little detail there by Perez, but very heads-up football. Tries to reach the ball out to get it over the plane, but realizes he's not going to make it, pulls it back in to protect it.
Goes outside. Ozog on the stop. Do we have a...
They are going to call him in on this. Again, favoring that weak side. You show the strong side to the right, which is where they've been favoring a majority of this game. And then Perez takes the ball, takes 1 step back. Ozog was ready for it, but with just a short distance to go to the end zone, Perez is able to reach it over the line and put it away for a Goffstown touchdown. A quick drive for them after the onside kick to now take a 2-score lead over the Tomahawks.
Kelly's point after attempt is good. Grizzlies extend their lead to 14 points. 2 scores for the Tomahawks.
And you would imagine there's going to be some conversations on the Tomahawk sideline now, telling their front line to be ready for anything that Goffstown might throw their way. They've shown that onside kick twice now. I'm sure they wouldn't be afraid to do it a 3rd time if they can catch the Tomahawks off guard.
And guys, I want to give a quick shout out to Jen at the Quarterback Club. She's making sure Merrimack TV and its commentators are well fed tonight. So thank you so much, Jen. She said you guys are doing a great job. So thank you guys, and thank you, Jen, at the Quarterback Club.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you very much, Jen. We appreciate you very, very much for what you do, not only for us, but for these student athletes as well.
Great gal. I had a chance to work with her last year when she took over as the president of the Quarterback Club this year, and she was just a great liaison last year. For folks that don't know, I was the booth guy for the last 4 seasons on field for home games. And Gary Kaczynski took over for me this year. He's doing just a great job. And Jen's just great people, and appreciate all the hard work that she puts in to help make the program, the football program, very successful.
And that's going to be another late flag, this time going against Goffstown.
Looks like Lamontaine's coming up.
Oh, and there's another one where there's helmets on. A lot of extracurriculars going on. We weren't able to see what was going on around the 45-yard line where we see that flag. But we definitely saw the late hit on the 40-yard line. We'll take another look at it here. That throw to the ground is going to draw the easy flag. The officials, after the way this game has been going, they're going to call that every time. And then we see a late look here on the right side. Not sure if that one was also the Grizzlies or if the Tomahawks were involved there. Again,
we did see a player lose a helmet, right? So who knows?
Again, not the kind of game you want to see played. We understand that it is an emotional game, but it's just so important to play smart, disciplined football and not let the emotions get the best of you and cause a silly heat of the moment decision to cost your team so much. Officials talking it over to figure out where these penalties are being assessed.
This could be a double whammy against the Grizzlies.
We'll take another look at it here.
So there's the first flag.
We see that one, and then the camera pans over to the right just in time to see the Tomahawks player backing up, and then we see the flag come in. It looks like Perez's teammate comes out to usher him up. Here we go.
By each team. Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, Merrimack. Dead ball foul, personal foul, Goffstown. Those penalties will offset. It'll be first down, Merrimack.
So the Tomahawks got called for something on that as well. We might have missed that one.
I think whatever was going on the right side of the field is what ended up getting called on the Tomahawks. We weren't able to get a full look on it, but we did see the aftermath of both teams trying to back their teammates away and cool things down. And we did see the one against Goffstown. So 1-1, the penalties do offset, and the Tomahawks take it over where LaMontagne was tackled.
Inside handoff.
And as mentioned, LaMontagne was a bit slow to get up after that return. We do hope that he is okay.
Gorman, the ball carrier, picked up about 4 on that play. He did. LaMontagne looked a little ginger. He was slow on that. It seemed like he slowed down on that return, and that contact definitely did something to him. Gorman on the carry again, inside, able to pick up the first down.
It's going to be close here. You'll see where they mark him.
Gorman the carry again, stopped by
Looks like the spot will give it to him, but they are going to bring this.
Refs are trying to figure out what's going on. Trying to determine whether it's a first down or not. Looks like they
are going to bring the sticks out to get a measurement.
Timeout for an official's measurement.
Both teams sent to their sidelines so that they can bring the sticks out. It is pretty close. It looked like before the spot that the Tomahawks had just enough, but we'll see with where the officials put the ball if it will be enough for the Tomahawks to get the first down.
And it is. All right.
It will be enough to give the Tomahawks a first down. And while they're doing the measurement, another huge shout out and thank you to the volunteers that make these games possible, those at the concession stand, the chain gang, and all other volunteers at the game that make this possible for these student athletes.
First down, Merrimack.
Sahil on the keeper. Able to pick up 8 yards on that play. Again, you see that patience, just waiting and seeing things develop in front of him before he cuts back or finds a gap or a hole.
On the carry.
And a nice play fake as well. So good he faked out the cameraman as well.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
We talked about this a little bit earlier, the Tomahawks with that hard count.
count.
They like to pull it out in certain situations when they can catch the defense off guard and use it to their advantage. It's usually, you'll see it after those first down plays that go for a decent gain. We saw it once earlier and we see it again here. A nice easy 5 yards to give them the first down and reset the sticks.
Tomahawks in Grizzly territory. And then we have another late penalty. It was Dine on the carry. Interesting to see him come out of the backfield.
Hey, Mark, can you watch a far side corner for me? Far side corner.
Let's take another look at this here. Dine takes it up the middle, usually a guy coming out of the slot. Might be a call against the Tomahawks for a late block. You see a Grizzly kind of roll over after the play.
Oh, it's going against the Grizzlies.
Personal foul, late hit on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now we're seeing the penalties go the other direction.
Not sure if we're able to take another quick look at that one, though. I'm not sure I saw the late hit there.
I didn't either.
But, of course, with how this game is going, the officials are going to be so quick to call it because they want to do their best to keep this game clean and penalize them when they are making choices like that.
All right, guys, let's see if we can look at this one more time.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, it is.
Yep, 55 with that
Coming
late
down
hit.
late on
Yep.
top of Dine after he's going down to the ground. Hard to see at first, but it is definitely the right call there made by the official.
Tomahawks able to pick up 2 on that first down. Sahil on the keeper. Not able to get the cutback he was looking for. Great job by Perez and company to be able to just shut that hole down.
And sometimes even with patience, it's hard to find an open lane if it's not there. I don't expect the Tomahawks to run another play here before the end of the quarter. And they will not, as they let the clock expire to the end of this third quarter, as the Tomahawks still trail by 2 scores behind the Goffstown Grizzlies.
Although we see the Tomahawks definitely getting some momentum, get some traction underneath them. Obviously had a penalty go in their favor for that late hit. They're knocking on the door. If they can get a score and a stop and then be able to connect the dots like they're doing on this drive. This has been by far one of their most consistent drives where they're just getting nice chunk plays and being able to move the ball. They're looking very confident in what they're able to do, getting some inside penetration, which we didn't see in the first half. They were going a little bit outside, and we'll see. I don't know. Again, we're still waiting for that big play. Maybe the fake punt was the big play we were looking for or anticipating in the second half. But we get 3 quarters in the books. We got 1 quarter left to go. Tomahawks are definitely knocking on the Grizzlies' door, just outside the just inside the red zone.
Big play, of course, being a relative term, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that results in a 40, 50, 60-yard gain. And it can simply be a play that does shift the momentum. And you look at the game so far, the fake punt, the onside kicks, those have been quote-unquote big plays that have gone in the favor of the Grizzlies. The Tomahawks now looking for one to go in their favor. The only thing working against them now is going to be the clock as they try to put a score away here and need to be able to put together a stop without allowing the Grizzlies to burn too much of the clock. They have been able to save all 3 timeouts so far through the third quarter. So we'll see how much that clock works for or against them as they look to make this a 1-score game. And as we wait, another huge thank you to the Goffstown Grizzlies media department for broadcasting it on their end as well. Thank you to all the Goffstown fans joining us and viewing here on our end. We hope we have done you justice, and we invite you as well to throw some shout outs in that comment section as well, and let us know some of the Grizzlies that you are cheering on here in this game. We love to give them shout outs as well, so feel free to let us know if you are watching out there in Goffstown and if you want to say hello to your favorite Grizzly.
I will say I have to give props to Coach Preston. First-year head coach, coming in, taking over a program, getting acclimated, obviously having the off-season to get to know players, develop relationships, come up with a scheme that's going to fit. And he's definitely using these players to their advantage with their skill set. And, with the wrinkles that he's been able to throw in with the special teams, wow, hats off to the future of the Grizzlies program. I'm very impressed.
Absolutely, and it's a Grizzlies program that has certainly had some up and down moments.
Quick pass out to Ozog. Looks like he was able to pick up 7.
Is going to bring up a 4th down for the
Ozog on the
Tomahawks.
carry.
But it looks like the offense is staying on the field.
Out of bounds right around the 10-yard line.
Trying to use the hard count again to catch the Grizzlies off guard. It's not going to work, and the Tomahawks are going to have to burn one of their timeouts. But as I was mentioning, a Grizzlies program that overall has been pretty consistent, but in looking at postseason success, they haven't made the playoffs since 2021, where they lost in the first round to Winnicott. So this is a team that is looking to return to the postseason for the first time in 3 years now. And the way things have been looking so far, although the scores haven't gone in their favor, Preston is doing an incredible job leading this program and building a foundation. It reminds me, too, thinking back to my playing days, of when Coach Jackson took over the Merrimack program.
Right.
It was my freshman year of high school, and that first year we didn't have immediate success, right? But there was so much of a foundation built, a shift in the culture, and able to establish the expectations that he has for the program moving forward. And the following season took us to the semifinals, where we lost to Bedford, unfortunately.
Right.
But you build that foundation to build upon it and see the long-term success. And I think we are seeing a very, very strong foundation being built here by Preston.
Goffstown's got a tough road ahead of them. After they play us tonight, they've got Bedford next week. Then 2 weeks they've got North, then Keene, then South. Sahil on the keeper, bounces off a defender, able to get the yardage for the first down.
And take another look at that here. It looked like he actually bounced off of his own man.
Oh, he did.
I think that was
my.
Dine, and Dine
Dine's
does look a little shaken up off after the play.
Looks like Dine got himself caught up with a defensive back and just got almost ran over by Sahil coming on that run. We'll see how Dine.
And the officials, I believe, are discussing the spot to see if it was enough to gain the first down. I believe that it was, unless they are discussing anything else during the play.
I don't see any.
I don't see any lingerie on the field.
Yeah, I don't see any yellow on the field, so.
Thankfully, it looks like Dyna's okay. We'll take another look at the play here to see where Sahil was taken
Looks
down.
like he's got to get to the 9.
Result is a first dead ball foul, personal Merrimack.
What?
15-yard penalty from the end of the run. The change will be set once we mark the ball, so we'll be 1st and 10.
And another late penalty against the Tomahawks. I didn't see it there. We had kind of a tighter shot as that play came to an end. So I'm not exactly sure what happened on the late end of that play, but another costly penalty for the Tomahawks. You get that huge first down on 4th. You get the ball inside the 10-yard line. Luckily, given the situation of the penalty, they are still able to take a 1st and 10 situation, so they have another first down to get before they approach the end zone. But you were just looking at 7 to 8 yards to get into the end zone, and now you're back just outside of the red zone. And the officials taking another second to talk this over.
Yeah, we just didn't see I didn't see anything develop after that last play. Very interesting. Obviously, the referees want to make the right call, and, you know, taking a little bit of time to talk it through, make sure they get the call as close to where they need it to be is definitely never a bad thing.
And gentlemen, while we have a minute, I got Elizabeth Dumais has chimed in on Facebook. She says, "Go Tomahawks." 2 little Broadway-bound tumblers say hi to Mr. Robert as well.
Nice. Rob's got a fan club.
Rob, are you Mr. Robert?
I am indeed. My mom, of course, being the owner of Broadway Bound Performing Arts Center here in Merrimack. And a little, shameless plug here. We were recognized as the best dance studio in the 603 recently. So
Awesome.
I do, in my free time, teach tumbling at her studio and do have Miss Dumais' 2 little ones in my class. So I am, in my free time, my alter ego is known as Mr. Robert indeed.
Well, Mr. Robert, it's great to have you on board here.
I thought I wore a lot of hats, but my props, kiddo, props.
Absolutely, and it's a fun time. Looks like the officials were able to sort out whatever they were discussing.
See, he'll drops back, looking for a man. Oh, we got the reception. Gorman, nice tiptoed catch. Boy, that could have gone the other direction pretty fast.
Absolutely. What you would think might be a risky throw there by Sahil as he has the pressure. He takes the hit as he's throwing the ball. That's a very professional skill set to be able to get the throw within target there for him to be able to make the play along the sideline, but it certainly could have gone the other direction.
Sahil on the keeper. Nice moves.
Take another look at that one here. Again, it's that patience that works so well, not rushing into anything. Let the play develop in front of him, find the open seam, and pick up as many yards as he can. He's very self-aware. He knows he's not going to be the guy to run over a linebacker in the gap.
No, not at
so
all.
he has to take advantage of his other attributes and being smart and being patient and find those open seams and now give the Tomahawks a first down.
1st and 10 on the 11. Oh, my. Gorman just got gobbled up. Looked like that was Chenard with a nice penetration.
Bowman and a carry, stopped by.
Was all over that play, knew what was coming, got through into the backfield very quickly. And then again, in that situation, we talk about those option plays. I believe on that play specifically, he was the read key, right, for Sahil to watch him and see what he's doing to make a decision. So in that moment,
5 in the backfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Tomahawks called for another penalty.
my guess would be that a slot receiver, a wide receiver was lined up off the line when he should have been on the line, hence the 5 men in the backfield call. But what I was saying was that you make those decisions on the spot, as we were talking about, Sahil, and just from time to time you make the wrong decision. So it happens to be a loss there.
1st and 10, Tomahawks. Quick pass to Ozog. Able to make his move. Touchdown, Tomahawks. Ozog made some great misses. Made some guys miss on that beautiful spin.
And Ozog, as I mentioned, this is the first game back of him getting usage in the offensive side of the ball, making his presence felt here in a clutch moment of this game. The Tomahawks trailing by 2 scores, able to make a couple men miss and spin his way into the end zone to put the Tomahawks back on the board for the first time since Sahil ran it in the second quarter.
Point after attempt is good. Tomahawks cut the lead to 7 points for the Grizzlies. And this is what the Tomahawks needed. They needed a quick score in the fourth quarter, and they got it. And so let's see what the defense, can do.
Take another look at that touchdown here. A great play once again by Majower. You feel the pressure coming, but you're still able to get the ball out to Ozog, who is just a force to be reckoned with in the open field. Takes it all the way down the rest of the field to score the touchdown for the Tomahawks. And great timing as well, as you had mentioned. Leave enough time on the clock that they don't have to do anything crazy. They don't need to think about an onside kick or anything like that yet. Just send the ball deep. Send your defense out there, make a clutch stand on defense to then be able to get the ball back in the hands of your offense. The Tomahawks right now are doing all the things that they need to do. They need to just get in a position where they're playing smart, clean football on this drive. There's no room at this point in the game for any of those penalties. Well, I should say there never is any room.
True.
In this moment especially, you have to make sure that you are playing a clean defensive stand. And if you're the Grizzlies, a score here, if you burn enough clock, could be the dagger for Goffstown.
Perez on the return.
Perez on the return, stopped by Stevens.
It was a good return by Perez. Just shy about 30 yards.
And you see his athleticism come into play again there. He gets really close to the sideline, able to be very self-aware of where he is to the boundary. And although he didn't pick up a huge chunk of yards after the fact, still able to be patient, take a step back, make sure he doesn't get forced out of bounds right away, and could potentially cut back or not in situations like that. So another great play by Perez in every area of this game so far.
My only thought is how much juice do the Tomahawk defenders have left in the tank? Because they played a lot of football in the second half already. Inside handoff. Gannon, ball carrier.
And to your point, that is where depth comes into play for Brandon Lilly's defense. The ability to switch guys on and off the field to get them some breathers when they need it and not necessarily have to be on the field for an entire 10, 11 play drive potentially.
Ball's on the 44.
Gannon picked up 6 on that play. 2nd and 4 for the Grizzlies. And again, coming back to what we talked about earlier, you mentioned about the first downs, right? Grizzlies definitely winning the first down battle on this drive. Oh, beautiful stop, Frankie. Great penetration by the defensive line.
Looks like there may have been a small collision in the backfield. I believe what happened there, Perez opened up to the wrong side, which happens from time to time. But when you're running a counter play like that, ends up bumping into his own man. Still able to get the handoff. Fortunately, sometimes you see those plays result in a fumble, but he's still able to get the handoff. The Tomahawks have enough time to get the penetration and be all over that for a tackle for a loss.
Ozog was in on that play as well.
And I mean, hey, if you can't win first down, you might as well win second down.
Absolutely. 3rd and 4. Perez rolls out, off the fingertips of his intended receiver. Not sure who that was. That was a quick pass.
Ball intended at 26, Torres.
And guys, we got a quick update from Brian Gagnon. He does say volleyball game takes game 5, 15-12. I believe he means the Tomahawks, and goes 6-1 on the season.
Wow.
So the Merrimack Tomahawks volleyball team is still standing strong And he says now back to the football field. So thanks, Brian. We really appreciate that.
And we'll see if the Tomahawks are able to follow in the footsteps of the volleyball team as they check the boxes that they needed to make a quick stop on defense and give their offense enough time to put another drive together here with just under 9 minutes left to play in the game.
The 23-yard looks like.
Goffstown's making a great decision to punt the ball. They were at midfield instead of try to make a play and then get stopped. And
I don't know if we can. I'd love to go back to that third down play if that's possible, Justin, because something happened there that I was able to spot by Beau Lamontagne. He came off the line initially, read pass, and was able to flip his hips and get back to coverage out in the flat, which looked to be the original receiver that Perez was looking at. So something that you wouldn't necessarily notice because the ball didn't end up going that direction may have been a very, very clutch moment made by Beau Lamontagne in that moment.
I'm going to see if I can pull it up here.
Sahil on the keeper. Smothered by the Grizzly defenders.
And again, we have those conversations about the option, right? And I think in that moment, as you saw the running back go free, that the better decision in that moment may have been to hand it off.
Hand it off.
All right, guys, I think I got it queued up, but we'll wait for this play to play out, and we'll have a look-see.
Tomahawks lose a yard on that play. Sahil on the keeper.
And let me see if I got this queued up here. It's that third down play.
A little sped up. We're going to watch number 15 here. He's going to be towards the top of your screen. That is Beau Lamontagne. He's going to come flying down the line here, able to plant his foot in the ground, turn his hips, and take away that receiver as an option for Perez.
Tomahawks 3rd and 3. And that was a great play. He pushed him outside and cut off any kind of passing lane that Perez could have had on that quick out on the flat there. That was a nice job.
Absolutely.
Great
I don't know
spot.
if you saw it there. The Tomahawks tried to use the hard count once again.
Oh, here with a nice move inside, able to get the yardage needed for Tomahawk first down.
By Cody for a Merrimack. Wow, you guys are really slow tonight.
Of course, the Tomahawk tradition with the crowd is they invite the crowd. They say another Tomahawk, and then it leads the crowd to say first down. Of course, the new PA announcer, Andy, we were able to steal him over here. And so
Gary getting his chops wet. Oh, beautiful pass to Ozog. That was on a dime. So here with a bullet.
Take another look at it. Again, it's something we haven't seen this offense use a lot, those quick throws out of the shotgun set. You see Ozog release across the middle of the field. And
Egan with a finally gets his name on the stat sheet. Nice catch there.
And another one of those quick throws, this time to the sideline. You have to wonder if because the clock, it's pushing the Tomahawks to turn to this style of offense. But 2 plays in a row, ripping off 5-6 yards. It has been very efficient so far. We'll see if they continue to carry this forward. It's not a point yet on the clock where it's incredibly necessary.
True.
But if it is moving the ball and if it is working, then why fix what's not broken?
Exactly. And it's catching, I think, the Grizzly defenders off guard. Oh.
And another one of those quick throws, that time to Dine. Perhaps a little too much English on the ball there for Dine to be able to pull that one in.
You know, one of the things you see in the pros is they talk about how much time the quarterback has on a release, and they talk about you want a quarterback wants a release, drop back in the pocket about 2.5 seconds. And to watch Sahir drop back and the release that he has, and the speed that the ball is coming out of his hands, it's very impressive. On those, especially on those last 2 plays that we saw, and he's throwing the ball on a dime. So maybe, you know, some of the adjustments he could make in his game is just being cognizant of what throw is needed, what velocity is needed, what play, depending on what's going on. And he breaks some tackles.
A huge play there for the Tomahawks. He takes it outside on a designed keep. And again, using that patience, finding the sideline and able to pick up the 2 yards that they needed for the first, and then even more to keep this drive rolling, keep the clock moving. As we talked about before, we'd see if the clock would help or hurt them, but now they're in a position where they need to score, but they don't want to leave too much time left on the clock to give the Grizzlies an opportunity to drive down, score, and wipe out any remaining clock and control the rest of the game. So this is a very tough position to be in offensively of, do you want to burn the clock out? Do you want to save it? And how you want to approach the clock.
Oh, so here's pass intended for Ozog, was a little bit low.
Ball intended for Ozog.
And 6 minutes is a long time. I mean, so say the Tomahawks do score, you're looking at about 4 minutes, maybe 3:45 left on the clock. Plenty of time for the Grizzlies to drive down the field, depending on what they could come up with. So clock management is definitely a factor. So we'll see how the Tomahawks react just outside of the red zone.
And remember, too, a touchdown and an extra point would tie the game, right? So it's not as if the Tomahawks can run it down, burn the clock out, or the Grizzlies for that matter, or the Grizzlies could when they get the ball back, excuse me.
So
but
here on the keeper.
For both coaches here, managing the clock is a very unique position to be in. And another outstanding run by Sahil here. Very, very smart with the ball as well. Protect it, put it away.
Joe on the carry.
Gorman not able to do much on that. Great defensive stop
Gorman taken down by Samard.
by Samard. I will say, though, as we look at how clock management plays out late in this quarter, Rob, you have to think that I would give advantage to the Grizzlies. You remember Kelly, she was able to boot 37-yard field goal, so if the Tomahawks can score on this drive, leave enough time, it doesn't really give the Grizzlies that much field that they have to play with in order to get that go-ahead score. Sahil, another great run.
And before the Tomahawks even need to worry about that, that is the third now, I believe, third and short that the Tomahawks were able to convert for a first down. We talked about it earlier, the Tomahawks so efficient on third downs prior to this game, 57% on third downs. Looks like a time.
No,
not a timeout.
thought the refs were going to call something there. First and goal for the Tomahawks.
And another big play by Ozog. Great throw by Majower as well, able to put it right on a rope where it needs to be, put it right out in front of Ozog, so he has the opportunity to make the play with the defender right on his back. And now the Tomahawks are knocking on the door. They're on the 1.5-yard line.
Great patience, too. He had great patience, had pocket presence, was poised the whole time, looking for the play to develop, and made a great throw. That was a heads-up play.
And I tell you what, you talk about those 2.5-second release times. For the offensive line, that is the longest 2.5 seconds they have ever felt. It is a marathon up front if you're one of the guys in the trenches. And they've done a pretty good job overall giving Sahil the time that he needs to be able to make those plays. And that was Sadia.
Touchdown, Tomahawks. Bringing the big guy. Rumbling.
That was something that Coach Jackson had mentioned to me in our conversation, that Sadia was going to be someone they bring in those short situations, whether it be on a third down, a fourth down, or a goal line situation. So Coach Jackson using his weapons very smart.
Absolutely. take advantage of what you have in front of you. But remember, I mentioned, oh, what do we have?
It looks like the Tomahawks might be going for the lead here.
Oh, you're right. This is where I mentioned earlier that missed field, that a point after could come back. Oh, boy. Tomahawks going for 2.
This is big here for both teams. Wow, and it is thrown out of the reach of Caden Dine. Looks like they might not have been on the same page there, but a big 2-point attempt there.
I'm not sure I would have taken the shot on that. I would have gone for the tie.
It's certainly an interesting decision to have to make. It's not necessarily do or die in that moment because there is enough time left on the clock. In either way, if you take the extra point, you're in a position of a tie. So at best, you're looking at overtime. But we'll take another look at this 2-point attempt here. We see the pressure come in, and Sahil's pass is just way too high for Caden Dine to be able to come down with. Caden Dine is a 3-sport athlete. He plays basketball and lacrosse, so maybe he was testing out his hops there, see how up he could get on the ball, but just out of reach.
I think Sahil, too, had some pressure in front of him, and it caused him to have to throw that ball a little bit higher on an arc than he wanted.
Which is pretty uncharacteristic from what we've seen from him in this game so far.
See what the Tomahawk defenders can do. And the kick sails into the end zone.
That is going to be a touchback for the Grizzlies. And this goes back to what we talked about. The Grizzlies now can look back to the offensive scheme that they had early in this game. Short yards, long run, or long drawn out plays to burn as much clock as possible and inch the ball up the field. With 3 timeouts, they control the clock, they control the pace of the game here, and likely they really only need to reach the 28-yard line, I would imagine, the 30-yard line.
30-ish, right?
For their kicker to be able to make the kick. Excuse me, it would be about the 20 for a 37-yard kick.
But also they control, they're up 1 point, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, you're very right.
Looks like Schmidt up the middle.
So as I was corrected, they don't even need the field goal. They can
field goal.
realistically, a couple of first downs, burn as much of this clock as possible.
7-yard gain.
And they started off in the right direction with a big pickup on first down. We talked about it endlessly in this game, winning those first down plays, and Goffstown has been doing that pretty consistently.
Rattling off 6-7 yards on that first down. And we talked about it. The Tomahawks did come away with 2 big stops on 2nd and 3rd down on a previous drive. So let's see what they can come up with here. Looks like they're going to try to blitz. And they do get some incredible penetration.
I'll take another look at this. The Tomahawks do send the house. They have about 7 guys up front. 2 are able to get through and make that tackle. Zach Rate leading the charge on that one.
Schmidt in the carry. And,
one of the Sadia brothers was in there too as well.
Company.
But the clock continues to run. Under 3 minutes. Grizzlies taking their time. Perez, inside handoff. Pushing outside. Able to get the corner. That was Chapman.
And
before he was pushed out of bounds.
Great. Looks like they're going to mark him short. I think they are saying he stepped out of bounds before he was. Oh, there's a flag down.
And we've got a flag too.
A flag on the
Looks
play.
like the spot is going to be just behind the sticks. And there's a flag down.
Wow, this could be really interesting. If this goes against the Grizzlies, this could be a big momentum shift.
The question is, though, if you're the Tomahawks, do you accept or decline the penalty? Because we've seen the Grizzlies able to pick up short downs, but we've also seen the Tomahawks put up a stop. So do you give them another third down, or do you force them into a fourth down situation and make them decide to either punt it or try to go for it on their own side of the field?
Looks like a holding call against the Grizzlies. So do you make it 3rd and 12? You make it 4th and 2.
Exactly. We'll take another look here, see if we can see the hold.
During the run, holding, offense, 10-yard penalty.
Yep,
for
you
the
absolutely
there it
see
is.
it at the
Yep.
top of the
Third down.
screen.
That was Hastings on the hold.
Looks like he got a little too familiar with LaMontagne on that.
And the Tomahawks do opt to take the penalty, push the Grizzlies back to their 19, 3rd and 12.
Now you would expect run here from the Grizzlies because you keep the clock moving and you force the Tomahawks to use one of their remaining 2 timeouts. If you're the Grizzlies, you have the lead. There's no need to take a shot to try to force the ball in the air, because if you put the ball in the air and it falls incomplete, you allow the Tomahawks to maintain 2 of their timeouts as they go into what could be the game-winning drive.
Drive, exactly.
And they are going to throw.
Perez looking downfield. Oh, able to escape the defender. Oh, nice play. I think that was Ozog.
We'll take another look at that. It looks like Sadia lost his footing a little bit. Perez was able to juke him out, keep the play alive, but Ozog using his height and his hops to knock that ball down. And exactly as I said, now it's a 4th down situation where the Tomahawks are able to save their timeout because the Grizzlies had the incomplete pass.
That clock stoppage is huge right now. Now, the question becomes, do you think because the Grizzlies being this deep, they would pull something like they did earlier with Perez?
I'm not sure, but it does look like the Tomahawks are ready for it. They're not sending a huge rush. They are spreading their return team out a little bit to be on guard in case there is any sort of attempt as we see Perez kick it away. And it is fair caught there by Stephen Doyle.
Smart play.
Ball spot on the 45, be first down for Merrimack.
Clock stops. 2 minutes 8 seconds left. Tomahawks starting from their 45-yard line. Pretty decent field, actually very good field position.
And if you're the Tomahawks, this is best case scenario from what they wanted out of their defense. They got the stop they needed. They didn't allow the Grizzlies to burn too much clock. And they have that 3rd down situation where the Grizzlies take a chance, take a shot, and Ozog forces that incompletion. So now the Tomahawks, who any football team practices those 2-minute drills that they're about to see right now, and to be able to go into a 2-minute drill with 2 timeouts still.
Ozog out on the flat, able to get out of bounds just across midfield. Nice chunk play.
And this is again that option. He pulls it, decides to keep it himself, feels the pressure, and sees Ozog still as that available position to throw that bubble screen out to. Great play there by Sahil to extend the play and turn what could be a couple-yard loss, keeping the clock moving, into a 5-yard gain, and Ozog gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
So Heel rolls out. Looks like Egan was the intended receiver. We kind of missed what happened on that play.
Looks like there was quite a bit of contact, and it sounded like from our field noise that there might have been some calls for a flag, but do bear in mind that part of the conditions of a pass interference is if the ball is catchable or not. And based off the look we got there, it looks like the ball was out of reach and therefore deemed uncatchable and no need for the pass interference penalty. So the right no call there by the officials.
3rd and 5. Tomahawks need to convert. And they do.
It's going to be close.
Oh, looks like he's going to be just short a yard.
They are going to mark him short.
First down, I believe.
He does go backwards on his own volition to get out of bounds, which does cause it to be short.
4th and 1. Dine with a great catch, but didn't go forward. Make or break play here for the Tomahawks.
Try to catch them with the hard count, but the Grizzlies are very well disciplined.
Heel on the keeper. Able to get through, and his helmet comes off, gets ripped off.
Wow, we'll
Oh
take
my
another look at that. That's a
goodness.
huge play. Gets off that first
Oh,
tackle.
there's a big
it's
face
a very
mask.
blatant face mask, which is why we see all the flags come flying in. But a valiant effort. The one downside here, you see him coming off the field now. Because his helmet comes off, Sahil does have to leave the field for at least a play unless the Tomahawks use a timeout. And it does look like he's going to stay on the field. I'm actually not sure by rule with the penalty if that negates that.
It may, because it was forced off.
So we do see him staying on the field here. It does not look like he's going to have to come out.
Wow, 15 yards. We're on the 43. Wow, wow, and wow. This is, holy cow. What a great finish.
And I can tell you from my experience, too, the quarterback is always known as the heart of an offense, right? He's the
Personal
leader.
foul. Face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And when you see your quarterback make a play like that, put himself out on the line and have a moment like that, helmet gets ripped off, still keeps the legs pumping, picks up the first down, that fires up an offense, especially the offensive line, to keep pushing through this drive. So that is a huge, huge momentum shifter for the Tomahawks.
And guys, before we wrap here, Heather McGarvey says, watching the Grizzlies while in Ohio, Merrimack, your announcing is spot on, very entertaining and knowledgeable. Thank you for sharing with GTV. We love hearing you cover both sides. So thank you, Heather McGarvey, out in Ohio.
Thank you, Heather, for the shout out. We appreciate that.
We appreciate you, Heather.
Sahil on the keeper. Looking for something to develop. Nicely done by the Grizzlies. That was Charest. Great penetration. Great discipline.
Looks like there may have been some space on the outside, but Sahil unable to get loose of that Grizzlies pressure and bounce it outside, and now the clock stays rolling.
We're almost under 60 seconds. 70 seconds left in this game. 2nd and 10. Drops back. Oh, just out of the reach.
It looks like it may have been tipped there.
Doyle, the intended receiver. At least we get a clock stoppage, but it'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Not sure if we can take another look at that, but I do believe I saw a tip there as the pass went out to the flats. And if you're the Tomahawks in this situation, it very clearly is 4-down territory. You love to get the first down here, but do have the thought in the back of your head that you don't have to rip off the full distance here on 3rd and 9.
Oh, and Sahil loses his footing in the backfield. Oh, boy.
And another great defensive push from the Grizzlies. Their defensive line coming in clutch when absolutely necessary. They make 2 back-to-back huge plays. That one for a decent loss there for the Tomahawks. They're now looking at a 4th and 15, 4th and 14 situation.
Push back to the 30. That would be a 45-yard field goal, 47-yard. That's not, wow.
Guys, let's see if we can see this tip again on that 2nd down play.
Oh, yes, there it was.
Looks like he was able to get a hand on it, knock it off direction, and make it just far enough away that the pass was unable to be completed. Again, these little details that the Grizzlies are able to cover to make the Tomahawks uncomfortable and come up in the clutch on this final push by the Tomahawks. This is coming down to quite a nail biter here.
It is, absolutely. And you have to wonder what Coach Jackson's going to kind of draw up with you losing those 4 yards is huge. I mean, or 5 yards, because you went from 3rd and 9, now you're 4th and 14.
And the longest
13.
pass of the game, I believe, was to Ozog here in this quarter, so they haven't been forcing it deep very much.
Oh, and Sahil's pass falls way short of his intended target.
Ball intended for Doyle.
Unable to make that pass. I believe the Tomahawks also got away with a holding penalty in the backfield as well, based off what I saw. But a huge defensive stand by the Goffstown Grizzlies here as they take over on downs. And with the remaining time, you would think just a couple of knees away from sealing this game away. Quite a climatic ending to what has been a very close game overall through this entire game. Both teams moving the ball pretty efficiently, low-scoring game, but the penalties have been the story of this game so far.
And special teams. I hats off to the Grizzlies and what Coach Preston's been able to do. Special teams has been phenomenal. I mean, just the way that they started off the game with that kick. Granted, the Tomahawks were able to cause a fumble on that initial drive, get the ball back. But then again, to come back with another onside kick and get the ball, and just what the 37-yard field goal, and then the fake punt. Again, hats off to what they've been able to do, and it's definitely, you're seeing the starting of something really good to come for the future for the Grizzlies.
And you see the Grizzlies celebrating here as their head coach, John Preston, gets his first victory as the head coach of the Goffstown Grizzlies. Very exciting. Congratulations to Coach Preston on able to get that first win under his belt. The Grizzlies advance to 1-2 as the Tomahawks fall to a record of as 1-2 as well. Great game played by both teams. As we had mentioned, the two biggest stories being the special teams and the penalties. A lot to talk about for both of these teams. Both teams have a week now to reset and go talk things over, a lot to take away. The Tomahawks next outing next Friday at home against Keene.
Blackbirds.
Another tough challenge for them.
Very much so.
Well, Andy and Rob, I want to thank both of you for joining us tonight. I want to thank Jen Pappas over at Goffstown TV for sharing our coverage of tonight's game as well. I also want to thank another Jen at the QB Club, keeping Merrimack TV and our commentators well fed tonight. Thank you to Grace LeMay on camera tonight. And we, of course, had Nicholas LaValle here taking care of the technical side of things. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. This is Merrimack TV, your community, your voice.